Welcome to Four Roads in southwest County Roscommon, close to the Galway border, home to a wonderful hurling club with an extraordinary history. My name is Paul Conley and I had the absolute honour of hurling for this great club for many years. Join me in this documentary as I explore the history of hurling in this area. An area encompassing Four Roads, Mount Talbot, Ballyforan and Dysart. This place is steeped in hurling tradition, a tradition equal to or better than any other club in the country. We will look at primary documentary evidence of hurling here in the medieval period, into the 17th century and on into the 20th century, in 1904-05 when the first official hurling club was formed. This area has produced exceptional hurlers, exceptional teams, twice Connacht senior club champions, the most recent 1988. In this documentary I will look at the entire history of the club. I'll introduce you to the heroes and legends of the game locally. County hurlers, Railway Cup hurlers, Fitzgibbon Cup hurlers. And we will finish up in 2002, the year Four Roads won a remarkable third 3 in a row of county senior hurling championships. But it's also the year when we lost one of the greatest of them all, the late great Mickey Cunniff of Dysart. This is Four Roads. This is hurling country. So we're here in Lough Crone, just about a few miles from Four Roads village, and I'm joined by Dr. Daniel Curley. And Daniel's done a PhD, finished it there not that long ago, and he made some startling discoveries about this Lough Crone itself, and one in particular that caught my eye. But what's the significance here of Lough Crone?
So,
Daniel.
In effect, it's a turlock now. It's a disappearing lake, but in its heyday it was about 3 kilometres long, about a half a kilometre in width. Very substantial lake. There's 6 crannogs, 6 artificial islands out on the lake.
Okay.
And basically every townland surrounding both north and south has townland names associated with ring forts. So Liss, Liss na Gavra, Liss William, You know, they're all talking about a lot of settlement, a lot of activity.
Yeah.
So it's a very storied place. There's little artefacts assemblages that were uncovered through metal detecting in the 90s. They're telling us little parts of the story. There's a lot of wealth here as well, and that's what it's kind of starting to emerge, and it's all associated with, at that point in the later medieval, associated with the O'Kellys.
Okay, so your later medieval period, and at the O'Kellys, but they had a big.
This is one of their bases, in effect.
Yeah. And you discovered that.
Well, not on my own. I mean, there's local people here. Tom Kelly departed. He would have passed information on to Noel Hoare, and Noel Hoare would have talked to me about it, and in kind of turning all that out, putting it all together, making sense of it, and trying to get an understanding of it. That's what emerged.
Something happened here in the 12th century of interest to what we're doing.
Certainly so, yeah. So there's this very famous epic, a saga basically, and it's from the Fenian cycle, the Finn cycle, so Finn McCool. It's actually written in Roscommon, where Roscommon town is today, and it's commissioned by a fellow by the name of Cathal Crave Jarrah O'Connor. He's king of Connacht. So it's called The Tales of the Elders of Ireland.
Right.
And one of the scenes, one of the settings within The Tales of the Elders of Ireland is that St. Patrick arrives up, I would argue, to the south of the lake, probably consistent with the townland of Tullanini, the hill of the fair, and he's presiding over a gathering of the nobles of Connacht, all located here. And after that gathering has taken place, which would have probably been one of the normal things that would have taken place at these assemblies, these gatherings, a huge game of hurling takes place. Now, at that game of hurling, there was a fatality, and the King of Connacht's son, he's said to have died on the field. So not overly surprising considering where we are. And yet Patrick was able to resuscitate him and bring him back to life.
Okay, so that was the power of St. Patrick. But the 12th century record of a hurling match in the 5th century then?
Yeah, exactly. Here. Yeah, likely so. And I mean, what they're talking about is probably something that is very normal to people in the locality. The idea of playing games, playing hurling here, going back that far, is quite an interest.
It is, because myself and Michael will be interviewing two men, one about 50 yards from where we're standing, that played hurling for Rhodes. Pat Joe Mannion, I heard of his three sons, the Follins are up there. This is hurling country, steeped in it, even now. So
it's not really all that surprising when you consider it in that regard. Yeah, and if it's going to be anywhere else in the county, it's going to be here. You know. So
look at that's amazing. Back to the 5th century. Thanks for that. It's very interesting. We're here in Cummeen Cemetery, the old cemetery in Dysart. Well, the cemetery is over there, about 50-60 yards away, and it's a few miles from the village of Dysart on the road to Brideswell, and the significance of where we are is quite big, because this is a wayside cross. It would have been along a stretch of road back in the late medieval, the medieval period. So it's got a very, very unique and carving on it that doesn't exist really anywhere else in Ireland. And there is an arm here with 4 fingers, and along here is what many people believe is a hurl. An arm and an arm holding and a hand holding a hurl. And up on the top we have it's carved as well, and we know who it is because it's legible. And Anno Domini 1639, pray for the souls of Phelim Connor and Sarah his wife. So potentially this is Four Rhodes' first hurling superstar that's recorded with a name. We have a hurl and a name, Phelim O'Connor, and this is also significant in modern times, because up in Brideswell we have a fantastic monument to the great Jerry O'Malley, who would have been an outstanding hurler, and we'll see Jerry many times over the course of this video, but his monument is up in Brideswell and it shows him with a hurl as well. So another significant area for the history of Four Rhodes hurling is that direction in Dysart itself, and that's the grave of my great friend and hurling colleague Mickey Cunniff, that passed away at such a young age back in 2002. So there's a line of significant sites relating to Four Rhodes hurling in this area, and I think here in particular we have something quite unique. We're standing in the town of Clonaclan on the shores of Clachan, and there seems to be this is a repetitive thing where hurling is associated with turlocks, but we were up in Lough Crone as well. But there's a record from the Schools Commission reports of 1939 of hurling matches that took place here in the 1820s and right throughout the 19th century. And there's one written description that's really, really nice, and it says Clachan and Cloneycaleig, Curracott and Clonlachlan were the teams who played. 21 was the number of men on each side. The contests of this parish were played on Clachan Lough, where we are. It was between the townlands, and Clonlachlan won, owing to having a famous little man, Pádraig Kelly was his name. Every time he got the ball, no player would risk his life to go near him. So I played with fellas like that. So we could just imagine Pádraig running through here and scaring everyone. But a written record we have. They were dressed in corduroy breeches and long stockings and low shoes. So that's a very vivid description. The ball was made of corks bound together and tied with woolen thread and covered with horse skin. Goalposts were not used. Whatever team crossed the boundary of the lough first won the game. So there we have it. A written record, a primary source of hurling throughout the early 19th century and throughout the 19th century here on Clachan Lough. I'm joined by James Conley, who was born and grew up near this area, and James played hurling for Faroes at underage level. And you've heard
senior
level too, of course you did.
Medal.
You do. From what year?
76 was it?
77. Yeah. 77, yeah.
Junior medal.
Ah.
And
lovely. You would have heard about matches on Clachan Lough.
I did. The way I heard it, the winner brought home the ball.
You won the ball?
Yeah, and they brought it home to their own village.
Right.
And our village won it. Well, they won it several times because Tom Bolden was playing for them, and Tom Bolden was a terror altogether.
He was like this Pádraig Kelly.
This was going on, must be going on into this century, because Tommy and Bolden lived up to the 70s, So
it would have followed into the 20th century.
Yeah. I'd say after the GA being founded, they still was playing, And it was a kind of a spontaneous thing. It wasn't organised or rule based so much or anything It was the best man win, and that was it And but it was the same as the hurling match I saw here when I was a Gossoon
right over here is Tumrover.
That's right, Tumrover, yeah.
And there was matches played there as well.
Well, it must be 65 years ago anyway. I was only a Gossoon. And it was supposed to be Mount Talbot School versus Faroes School. But there was seniors and minors and everything playing. Tommy Tracy was in goal for Faroes School, and Tommy Cormacan was in goal. Tommy Cormacan from Clachan was in goal for Mount Talbot School.
And they were grown men?
And they were grown men. Tommy Tracy was a married man at that time. And
so it just developed?
It went on, it went on for 3 hours, I'd say, and there was great hurling in it. Seamus Gaffey above was playing, Jackie Macklin in Taberny, a couple of the Cormacans in Clachan. Eamon Cormacan was playing, he was a great hurler. And a couple of the Kellys from Posh Kellys, as they called them, from Arashi. And I can't remember, but there was a crowd at it, there were, all the local girls was there lined up looking at the boys.
Watching the match, yeah.
Somebody said one time, why do men go to war? Because the girls are watching, they said, So there's the same thing
same principle.
Yeah.
So that's the senior team would have trained there as well.
Oh, the time of the Moggalores, they trained there, And when they'd be finished training, then they'd go for a walk right round down to Callahan's Cross and up to Four Oaths.
Okay.
That was their training walk.
Part of it?
Yeah. They'd walk, we'll say that'd be 4 or 5 miles.
It was, it's a good walk now.
When they'd have their...
And it's right around the parish as well.
Right around, yeah.
The edge of the parish.
Probably finish in Four Oaths and have a couple of half on
Yeah, just to
give them a bit of strength and conditioning.
A bit of courage. Well, that's amazing, James. But it's great to have a written record of hurling matches here, and then that you've seen it just right beside us, right into the 20th century.
So the Moggalores went to play a match in Ballahaderian one time. And they went down on side cars, and just as they got into the town, they all hopped off the sidecars and hurled the ball down the street.
In Balladree?
In Balladree.
They wouldn't know what...
They did that time.
They did that time, yeah.
But the Gaelic revival was very strong at the time. There was hurling everywhere and Irish classes and all that.
It was a big thing.
Yeah, it was a movement, really, Should they talk about that Master Havey? And he was from Lissabruggy, and no more than Samoa, it's hardly a heartland of hurling.
Fiji,
or Fiji.
Yeah, the famous Micheál Hurtig,
But Micheál Hurtig used to talk about a football match, a football they used to play down in Kerry, and it was the same thing. Whoever would bring home the ball.
Was that it?
That's it, yeah.
We're in Mount Talbot, the village of Mount Talbot. Literally 100 yards that direction is County Galway. The River Sucks flows right through here, flows right behind Mount Talbot House, the ruins of what you can see there behind us. And we have, after coming there from Clahanlaw, and the record of hurling that took place there in the 1820s, 30s, and James Connolly alluded to, he said it went into the 20th century. So, but there's also records here of hurling matches taking place in front of the big house. And this occurred throughout the 19th century, particularly the 1830s and 40s. And this was organised by the local landlord. And he picked the teams, put the pitches together, and it was known that the gentry attended these hurling matches and were gambled heavily on their outcome. And it was part of an overall sports day for the community here. And the field was called Crab Park. It was right in front of the big house. So on this line here, there was lots of hurling matches, and the big one was between Four Roads, which wasn't called Four Roads at the time, or Mount Talbot, but the local team here would have played that league in a match here that generated a lot of interest. And it's in this area we see the first organised hurling team. We've seen hurling going back through the centuries, but the first organised team was set up here by Matt Heavey. And Matt Heavey was from a place called Buggons up near Newbridge in County Galway, and he'd gone teaching at Four Roads National School. And because of the hurling had been based here in this area and back up towards Four Roads and even into Dysart, he organised a team into the players that were here into a proper team. And these were called the Tisrara Magalores. And we've a photo of them here now I'm going to show you. One I got colourised last year, and the team wore a black jersey with a green stripe, diagonal stripe. And they won the year after they were formed, or the year they were actually formed, well, 8-9 months after their formation, they won their first county title. So that just tells you how strong hurling was here, having organised teams. And they won the next two as well, so they won the 3 in a row in county titles straight away. Now, Matt Heavey was also an accomplished footballer. He played football for Roscommon. He actually played football for Mayo at one stage as well. But he won a couple of Connacht titles with Roscommon in football, as did Arthur Casserly. Arthur Casserly also played on that Magalore team. So Matt Heavey and Arthur Casserly won football Connacht medals with Roscommon in 1906. Matt Heavey won a football Connacht medal with Roscommon in 1912. But here is something extraordinary, really. They also won Connacht hurling senior medals, beating Galway in senior hurling. And Matt Heavey was captain in 1906 when they won the hurling, Connacht hurling, and Arthur Casserly played in that as well. And Arthur Casserly and Matt Heavey have a Connacht hurling medal, senior hurling medal from 1913. So that collection of medals would be an extraordinary if they existed today. So there was a barren period then really in the area regarding county titles. There was no county championships held at all during the revolutionary years anyway. But another team came in the 30s. They were called the Young Moggies, or the Young Magalores. They didn't win a county title, but they were a very, very good team. They had some very good players. The two Cunniff brothers, there were priests from Curracott here. One of them actually played soccer for Arsenal Soccer Club in the 1930s in London, having learnt to play soccer in the seminary in Maynooth. But they didn't win a county title, but they would have had a good team. They still wore the same jersey, a black jersey with a green stripe. And we have this one photo of that team, and you can see it's quite blurry it's not they're not named, but there was Connacht, there was Turleys, there was various other fellas on that team. But then county championships weren't held then during the war years either, the Second World War, during the emergency. But towards the end of that, they started to be held again, and Four Roads came with a right good team at that stage. And sons of those great Magalore hurlers, many of them were now the stars of Four Roads, plus 3 Heavey brothers, Matty Heavey, and we've a photograph here of a county final winning team from 1948. And the first thing you'll notice from this photograph is the jerseys. The jerseys had changed. We'd gone from the black with the green stripe to black and amber, the famous black and yellow, or the black and amber jerseys of Four Roads. And how that jersey came about is a good story, actually. During the 30s into the 40s, Four Roads used to use Fuerty Football Club's jerseys. And they'd swap back and over. And Fuerty to this day have a black jersey with a yellow stripe. Or yellow hoop, it's quite a large stripe. But Four Roads then wouldn't get the jerseys when they needed them. They decided they needed their own set of jerseys, but they didn't want to decide on a colour. So what they did was, they used the Fuerty jersey, but just flipped the black and the amber. So now we had the yellow and the black hoop. And that's how the Four Roads jersey came into being as we know it today. So this team were a remarkably good team. We have Matty Heavey, who's a son of Matt's that we spoke about earlier. And Matty, of course, went on to play with Roscommon in the 1940s, winning an All-Ireland final with Roscommon footballers in 1944, as did Jack Casserly, who was playing in Westmeath at the time. The Casserleys, Arthur, we mentioned, had played with the Magalores. He'd moved to Westmeath, and Jackie's son grew up in Westmeath, but he came back as a chemist to Roscommon town and played football with Roscommon and won an All-Ireland in 1944 cornerback for Roscommon. So that tradition, and both Matty and Jack Casserly were exceptional hurlers as well. But also on this 1948 team we will see the great Jerry O'Malley, and he just, again, an outstanding hurler. Numerous Railway Cups. He played in 4 Railway Cup campaigns in hurling with Connacht and football as well. And we saw earlier in Comine and Dysart that wayside cross, and I mentioned that Jerry O'Malley's monument is up near, not far from there in Brideswell. So, very historical area here, and we're going to go now and we're going to interview a few people that we're going to look at the hurling in the 30s, 40s, 50s and right on through. We're going to finish up in 2002, and what happened to be a very joyous year. I was playing full back with Four Roads. We won our 3 in a row in hurling county championships, captained by the great Mickey Cuniff, who unfortunately passed away at a young age a few months later. So we're going to finish at 2002. So we're going to start now and interview Pat Joe Mannion. Right, we're here. Earlier we visited the shores of Lough Crone, and we discussed and we looked at what Dr. Daniel Curley, a hurling match that took place on the shores of Lough Crone, documented from a piece from the 12th century. And amazingly, all these centuries later, many centuries later, I'm sitting in a room on the shores of Lough Crone, and this particular room belongs to, I'm in the Mannion's house in Lough Crone, and I had the pleasure of hurling here with 3 of the lads, Brendan, Pádraig and Joe, myself playing senior hurling with Four Roads, who came out of this area, and who knows, perhaps their ancestors played in that famous game back in the late medieval period. But I'm here and I'm joined by the lads' dad, their father, Pat Joe Mannion, who played with Four Roads in his younger years and has been at probably every county final that Four Roads have won since bar 3, 1904, 05 and 06, because he was born, you were born, Pat Joe, what year were you born? 26. 1926. So Four Roads didn't win their first county title from the Magalore era till 45. So you were probably at nearly every county final win Four Roads have been in. And how did you get interested in hurling, Pat Joe, in your younger years? Did your father play or your uncles play? Or?
No, my uncle on my mother's side, Lennon
Coracott Mount Talbot. Yeah. He played.
Well, I love hurling, and there was always a certain amount of hurling on Sundays here.
Okay.
There was always a field.
Okay. And the local men would gather and play hurling on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And what field did they use, Petcho?
Well, I've said we were turning in at Tom Delaney.
Okay. In Dolan's, was it?
On Dolan's.
Yeah.
We played on there.
And would that go on all Sunday afternoon? To go on for hours?
Well, it would go on to do, we get
tired. Hungry or tired, yeah. So you went to school in Four Roads?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
was there hurling played in national school that time, or not really?
Well, not really, no.
Yeah. So it was here in the area you learned to play the game,
Yeah.
and
But it was played in most of the some of the parishes. Winton and now, it was played, and Tabarna.
was it?
Oh, it was.
So they'd have their own grounds, and they'd play games.
Yeah.
Must be nearly always on a Sunday in every place.
No, because there'd be always someone missing a week.
Okay. And when did you go to your first county final then? What's your first county final?
When I was 10 years.
You were 10 years old. So you're looking
It
at...
was that league and we bet them.
Okay. A big win. And who do you remember as the standout hurlers that time? When you were younger, when you were growing up and Four Roads were winning county titles?
Well, in later years, Larry Tiernan was my age group, and he was one of the top hurlers. He gave it everything.
Larry, yeah.
He kept going, he kept running, and he'd go from one end of the feet at speed.
Yeah.
And he was a strong fella. He just drive. He wasn't rough, but he was good. He was good. And what is? Sinead in later years. Well, not that long. He was an outstanding hurler.
Austin Lane.
He was unbeatable.
And where did he play? In the backs?
He played in the back.
Yeah.
And he wound up most of the time at full back.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get in on him. The hurl was this way.
Yeah.
And when they go for the ball, it was going like that.
Yeah.
And Jesus, he wasn't rough, but he was tough. He walked through you, go through you. You were in his way. Like.
Yeah, that's what you want, isn't it? But there's a photograph here, Petcho, and you were in it, and we'll show this on the screen now, but that's you there, but Austin Lane is in this. He's here in the end. And we have John Hines is there and Mick Murphy, I think. And there's a man here called McLaughlin. Who was he? McLaughlin. They were from Grange, were they?
They were from Grange.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So Austin Lane, did Austin Lane come from near here then?
Oh, he come we were turning in there in the road off the main road.
Okay.
The house is set now. It's sold to.
For entertainment, you played hurling and pitch and toss.
I did.
And the pitch and toss would be a benefit for getting your eye in for a hurling ball.
Oh, it was cool.
You know, and you mentioned to me about some of the more physical games were within the parish. Yeah, and you played in those yourself.
Huh?
You played in those.
I did.
Yeah, and they could get quite rough sometimes.
Quite.
Yeah. And so you grew up. Tommy MacDonald is not too far from you here.
He's above where you turn down the road. He's above the law. He's not in just here. He's above where you turn down at the law.
Yeah. So there was lots of good hurlers in this area.
Oh, yeah.
So you remember when the sports park was built in as well? That was a big
That
help.
was big.
Yeah.
Mrs. Hines, John Hines' wife used to come down every day while they were walking with a big tea for the tea. She was a great woman.
I remember that. I was there. My dad was there. That was a huge parish occasion. Who made the hurleys for you, Petcho, when you were growing up?
The man in the league.
Oh, I know the man, yeah.
I can't think.
Yeah, but did James Nolan made them in Curracott? Do you remember James Nolan?
Oh, I do. He was a thin hard.
Yeah. Did you ever heard about hurls belonging to him now? Or he was before your time?
I would be at home here.
Yeah, you would have seen his hurls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim O'Gara was the man in that league.
Actually.
And you got hurls off Jim?
Pure gentleman.
Was he?
And myself and Tommy Mac went down from second Mass was Sunday, for first Mass was Sunday, and he was out walking around, and he went in and he got us 2 hurdles, and he took half price because he liked to see young lads
Yeah.
that interested that would go down on Sunday and get all and pay for it. He was a pure gentleman.
Right.
He never, I'd say, young lad had money, he had no thought.
Yeah, he just wanted them to play hurling. So Jim O'Gara and James Nolan made the hurls. The Schlitters then?
Your grandfather.
My grandfather, yeah. And you remember his Schlitters?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There was no one.
There was no other one making
He
them.
was the friend of Hull. He used to play polo clubs. How he get them made? Well, if they didn't lose them, and they wouldn't lose them that time because they were scared. If you lost them, lost one, you set for you wouldn't walk away. We
were lucky to have one still in the family. We still have one of the Schlitters. And
have you?
Oh, they're fantastically made. So that team in the 40s, that was a very, very good team. With you had Mikey Flynn and Mount Talbot as well.
Yeah, he was very solid, strong, built fella.
Yeah, and you had quite a chap Burke as well.
Oh, he was a pure gentleman.
Yeah.
Burke was a good handballer as well.
Was he?
He was living up at Valley in the Jamestown.
Okay.
Valley is there, yeah.
And did you play handball?
I did, yeah.
When you were young?
Yeah. I loved handball.
Did you?
I did.
And that was good for the eye.
Oh, good for the eye.
You mentioned during one of those physical parish league encounters that you got a belt yourself.
Yeah.
And you were working the next day. You were doing.
You had to.
Yeah. And what were you doing the next day? You were.
What do you think? You could be in the bog.
Yeah.
The bog time. You could be shearing sheep. I learned to shear sheep, and I go to school.
National school. By hand.
Was a hand shear.
Yeah.
Turned blue.
You're like.
I didn't go to a doctor, but I did use this grease goose.
Goose grease.
I got from. I don't know who was it.
So you rubbed goose grease into your leg.
Yeah. You put out a drop on a plate here, and you put it near the fire, and you have it warm.
Oh, you'd heat it, okay.
Yeah, and to soak in.
Yeah.
And to soften somebody.
Was it? So you had to wait. You had to wait.
But it was.
It worked.
It was remarkable.
Yeah. So I think your mother came with the meal to you in the fields, and you weren't able to get down off the machine.
No, I never get down.
Because your leg was so sore. Yeah. They were tough games.
For the one.
Yeah. But as you said, you had to work the next day regardless. Yeah. So by the time I had the pleasure of playing hurling with your sons, Pat Joe. So you should enjoy going watching the lads playing as well.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I never miss one.
No.
I got in there the last time game. It was who was this let me in? Oh, the car. I drove the car in.
You drove the car?
And up on a bank.
Did you?
And I had a good view of the
You got
game.
to see the game?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I always think it's a remarkable record.
I got to see it on the finals.
It's amazing to think you were still going to them up to recently. And like as I said, you've probably seen every Forod's county final win, bar 3 in the history of the club, which is an extraordinary record. Look, I really appreciate the chat, Pat. It was great talking to you. And thanks for meeting me, and I enjoyed the conversation with you. Thank you very much. We're here at McDonald's house. We come out the door of Pat Joe Mannion's there, and just 5 minutes down the road we've arrived here at McDonald's. We're actually closer to the lake, to Loch Crone, even than Mannion's are, and as I said earlier, we've great history for this area in particular regarding hurling. And McDonald's, a lot of hurlers came out of this house, and I'm here with Tommy McDonald. And Tommy, when you were growing up, or what gave you the interest in hurling in this house, sir? Was it your father, or was it the area, or was it school, or?
It was the area.
It was the area.
School, there was never hurling or football at all in it.
Was there not?
Master O'Flaherty seemed to have no interest. I'd say he had in handball, but definitely not in hurling or
If
football.
there was hurling in this area, would you meet up playing hurling?
Maybe in summertime, if we were quitted early, we'd gather up and have a game. And if
In the
we
evening?
didn't- Yeah, in the evening.
Yeah.
And, down to Johnny Mea's field of a Sunday.
Right.
And you'd have a good game there, and Johnny'd come out when he'd have the hurling done, and he'd gather up all the hurdles and throw them into a heap and divide the hurdles into two
Okay. That's how he picked the team.
and pick the team and start off.
Yeah.
And for an hour and a half, maybe a good going, I'm telling you.
Yeah. To be held for leather.
Oh yeah, there'd be nothing soft
And
about
would there be a referee or
it. Johnny'd have
he'd be walking?
walking, he might blow every half hour.
Yeah. And was that was your training then?
Yeah.
That was a Sunday.
That was the training.
And when did you come onto the senior team then? What was your first year you were playing senior? Can you remember?
I think about 50.
1950.
I'd say about.
And for Rhodes won a county title in 1950.
I don't know the wonders in
58, 1950.
50.
So you were on the...
I was on it, but we should have won. 4 Rhodes should have won 3 or 4 more county finals, definitely.
Yeah.
In them years, because we were only beaten by a point or two.
Right.
At the full time, and we were only just getting good.
Yeah.
If it went 10 minutes more, we'd have.
I often heard that when the county finals were played later in the year, it didn't suit 4 Rhodes. The ground was softer and
That's right. That's right.
it would have been better stickmen and better skillful hurlers.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
So if it was earlier in the year, you probably would have won those.
Yeah. We should have won 3 or 4 more.
Yeah. And who was the star player for you back then?
We had Jerry O'Malley, of course.
Of course, absolutely.
But John Connor. John Connor was a great hurler.
He was.
A great skill.
And he's here with you in this is 58, I think, that team. So John Connor is on that.
Yeah.
Liam Murray and Bill Murray and Liam Kyle are still there.
Kyle, yeah.
John Connor and Jimmy's there and Fonzie
That's
Tully.
right. Fonzie
Jack
Tully.
Mullery.
Larry Tiernan.
Tiernan.
Mulligan.
Yeah. And Tommy Cormacan. And there's yourself.
Yeah.
What other pitches did you play in, Tommy? We're playing championship hurling or playing any hurling?
We played, I think we played a match in Tiernan's field in Taberny.
Okay, across from Larry's house.
Yeah. I think we played a match at the back of the community centre in 4 Rhodes.
That would have been Kelly's.
In Kelly's.
Yeah.
And I think we played a match in Morae's field in Atleague on top of the hill.
Okay.
Round across from the graveyard.
But that was a hurling pitch.
They used to play an odd match in it.
Yeah.
And I
And
remember
Johnny Mees, of course.
as a minor playing in Tom Connaughton's down at the back of Tom's house.
In Atleague.
Ah.
Okay. And there was a spot up across from Tracy's as well.
There was,
Kyle's.
Yeah.
And you trained there.
Well, we played in it, I don't know, did we?
You played matches there.
Yeah.
Okay. There's quite a few pitches. And how would you get around to the games? Someone would have a car or
Cycle.
bikes. Yeah.
Oh, there was no car.
There's no car.
Jesus.
No.
Cycle. It was great crack.
Yeah.
You put 2 boots and put a tug in one boot and jersey in the next boot if you had the jersey.
Right.
The hurl was on the gear case of the bike and off you went. There was no towels, no nothing.
No showers.
Oh, I thought
No.
there was a shower at the end of the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember we playing below in Connaughton's in that league, minor trials. And there were clashes of water in the field. We tugged out by the ditch and a shower came that evening and we were drenched and all we had belonging to us was drenched as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
those great evenings.
Did you play in St. Coleman's Park?
Oh, I did.
You liked that pitch?
That was a nice pitch.
Yeah.
It's a grand soft pitch.
Yeah. Of course, it would flood during the winter, so there was There was a spring in it. Jerry O'Malley loved that pitch too. He always performed there.
Yeah.
He performed
It was
everywhere.
a grand soft pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember being told before, you get very few injuries out of it. But it must be because of
It's soft.
how soft it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I remember we playing Owen Rose had a hurling team.
Who?
Owen Rose in Roscommon.
Town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Four Rose hadn't a senior team this particular year for what reason I don't know.
Right.
And Punch and I got up a team.
Got a team together.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I had 3 of us and 3 Peg Mulligan and Jimmy and Tom.
Oh, jeepers. Right. That's a good start for any team.
And Eamon, Kyle and PJ.
Oh, yes.
That was 8. Austin Lane and Mike Naven, 10. Larry Gaffey, 11. Josie Mangan and Grange, 12. I think we had Paddy Killian in goal, 13. John Lawler, 14. And I forget.
But you had a good team
We
then.
had a good team, but
Oh.
Tom Trace, when we'd be down training in Four Roads of a Sunday, you'd have a lot of oldish men there looking on.
Right.
In
Watching you.
In Johnny Mea's
Yeah.
field.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come and they'd spend 1.5 or 2 hours there.
And they'd watch you.
Yeah, they'd watch it. They'd be standing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if a very hot Sunday, then you'd be thirsty and into Hogan's for a drink of water.
Okay.
John Hogan was another good hurler too.
Was he?
He went to England.
Yeah. Yeah.
John Joe Gately in Talkboy was a lovely hurler.
Yeah.
He'd be a relation, his mother be Kane,
Yeah.
Jimmy Kane's.
All right.
He went to America young. Oh, he was a lovely hurler.
Yeah.
Lee Megan in Lacken
Right.
was another lovely hurler.
Yeah, these are names I wouldn't know. They all immigrated.
You wouldn't know them.
Yeah.
But they went to America. A lot of hurlers immigrated. And
Tommy Nocton.
Tommy Nocton was a nice hurler too. Was he?
Yeah.
Grand hurler.
Yeah.
Pat Mulry in Jamestown, be no relation of the Mulrys of today now.
Okay.
He went to England too. He was a nice young hurler. I thought there was a lot of them.
Yeah, well, of course, especially in the 50s, there was a lot of immigration.
There was, of course.
Huge amount of
There was,
immigration.
of course.
And
But we had great old times. When you'd win a match then into the Bridge House, have your mineral. I'd say there was only about 2 on that team drinking.
that's all that drink.
That's all.
That's extraordinary.
That's all that
Yeah.
was drinking at that stage.
Yeah, so it's no wonder you were winning county titles.
But,
Fit naturally from the work you done as
oh,
well.
well, of course, well, of course.
You know, you wouldn't have needed much training.
There was no hamstring injuries
There was
that
no,
time.
no one had hamstrings that time.
No,
No,
it wasn't how you tell it.
no.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. So look at, thanks Tommy for having us, and
you're
really enjoyed the chat.
Just
Thank you.
grand.
It was lovely. Thank you. I'm here now in Ballyforan. We've moved to the Ballyforan end of the parish, and I'm here in Tully's house and with Fonzie Tully. We're going to go through Fonzie's huge contribution to Ferode's hurling, both as a player and indeed as a trainer of underage teams. He revolutionised Ferode's in that regard and brought huge success in the 70s and the 80s. And so I'm just going to start. We'll start, Fonzie, at the start, as they say. You grew up where? Where were you born?
I was born in Bruff in County Limerick.
In Limerick.
I went from that to Cavan Town,
Cavan Town, right.
and then went from Cavan Town to Ardrahan.
In Galway.
My father was sergeant in the guards, and he went over on promotion there, yeah.
Okay.
I came to Ballyforan then in 1946 here.
So in Ardrahan, you were introduced to hurling there then?
Oh, yeah.
You were in the village?
Yeah, in the village, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going up to school. The school was a mile up the road. There was 21 of us going to school that at one particular time going up the road to school.
Together?
Yeah.
And
there was 3 teachers school.
Okay. And hurling was huge?
Huge,
That's South,
absolutely.
it's
But
South
during
Galway.
the war, a lot of that time.
During the war, okay.
Yeah.
So but then, at what age were you when you moved to Ballyforan here?
Coming up to 12
You were coming up to 12, so
yeah.
you had been introduced to hurling in Galway.
Oh, yeah.
So you wanted to continue that then here?
I did, yeah.
So you found a club?
I heard the 4 roads.
Right.
And I went down on my bike to it once.
You cycled down?
I did, yeah.
Right. And was there underage teams that time, Fonzie? There wasn't?
I never played underage hurling, but I played up to minor. There was no such thing.
Okay.
We'd have a parish league or something like that.
And where would that be played?
The parish league
Parish leagues,
in
yeah.
Four Roads.
In Johnny Mees?
There was a team in Mount Talbot, in Ballyford, in Jamestown, and what do you call it? Up on the hill.
Coriel?
No, up there.
Up there, yeah.
Yeah, Funchina.
Of course, they're taking a lot of good hurlers up there. So you'd play in a parish league?
Yeah, we played 7-a-sides was now.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Johnny Mees field?
In Johnny Mees, Croke Park.
Croke Park. And the old Johnny Mees was on the left as you went in the avenue. The real old. So the ones I remember was further nearer the village of Four Roads.
Yeah.
When I played underage. So what was that would have been competitive. Parish leagues are usually competitive.
Well, the Werbers was only young lads, or about under 15 or
under
something.
15. And what was the prize for the winner? Or
a set of hurleys.
A set of hurleys?
Yeah. Sonny Cronin and Dr. Meston went down to Jim Pat O'Gara and he got the hurleys medal.
Jim Pat, oh yeah.
I missed the final. I was gone to Ardran actually, and they wanted to finish it. So they let Frank Rogan play. Frank was overage, but they knew that, let him play in my place.
Yeah. And were you in goals that time? Were you always in goals, or did you?
Always in goals, but in that 7-a-side I was full back.
Were you?
Well, no.
Yeah. So you missed out on that. So then, when did you went to college then?
When I was 14.
You went to school in Garbally?
Garbally, when I was 14.
And was there hurling there?
You play a match early on in the year. We play Lochray, we play Flanners and Innes, and we play Roscommon, St. Joseph and Roscommon. But there wasn't.
There was a rugby school,
It was,
yeah. And you went then to university in
No, I just went to a week. I went to the training college.
The training college, St. Pat's?
Yeah.
And you played there?
I did. And there was a mixture of fellas from Cork, Limerick, Tipperary, Clare, Wexford, Kilkenny. There'd be one or two out of all of them.
Yeah.
And they couldn't understand how I, from Roscommon, was able to play hurling.
Right. And you were in goals for them?
I was.
For all the time you were there?
All the time I was there, yeah.
Okay, that was a great achievement.
Well, you see, how I got on the team was we used to play Flanners, as I said, and there was 3 or 4 lads from Flanners in the training college, and they recognised me that I was...
You were very good, yeah.
I got there.
You got there, and so then when did you start playing senior hurling with Four Roads?
I was about 14 when I played, under 14, when I played the first senior, but only a challenge match.
Right.
I remember Sonny Cronin had it in the paper about me playing for the seniors.
You played senior at under 14?
Yeah, that was only a challenge match.
I know, but that was a big step up.
I played minor hurling then with Roscommon. Must play about 5 years with them, under 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Okay.
And we drew at Galway once.
You played Galway at minor level?
Yeah.
And was that Galway's minor A team?
Yeah.
And you drew with them?
It was 1 year.
I know, but it's a great achievement.
But other than that, no, it could be 6-8, 3 points.
Okay, but there was 1 year you had a very good crack at it.
We had a very good crack at it.
Your team then?
About 1950, I was about 16 years of age. Now, I might have been full-time on at that time, but I know I won a senior medal in 54, anyway, with Four Roads, yeah.
You had a senior medal in goals?
Yeah.
And you won it again in
58.
58.
And again in 62.
Okay, you're on all those teams.
And we should have won it nearly all the times in between, but they wouldn't take us seriously only every so often.
Right. And would them teams train hard?
No, but no, very little training.
Just they get together on a Sunday?
Sunday.
But a lot of those fellas would be naturally fit with their line of work. And
the likes of Larry Tierney, sure, jumping over walls and everything.
Pulling calves.
And then we had Jerry O'Malley, and sure, he was good at half a team.
Yeah, he was that good. Unfortunately, I never got to see him, but he
was great. He was a great character. He was a great man, Jerry O'Malley. He was a great friend of mine all along up. Years after. Yeah.
And someone younger people could aspire to be like as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, who else on that Four Roads team, say your first county medal, who else would have impressed? Who was the star players?
Well, I think Seamus Heavey was still on that team that time. And Andy Lawler was an Andy Lawler.
Oh, Andy, yeah.
Liam Coyle was a very good hurler.
Was he?
Oh, Liam Coyle was very good. Who else was Larry Tierney.
Larry Tierney, you mentioned Larry. And Larry was a powerhouse midfield. He'd play midfield.
He was. He was from O'Malley centre field.
Oh, that's a great pair, yeah.
And Jimmy McDonald would be coming, and Tommy McDonald.
Tommy, I'm going to talk to Tommy, yeah.
You see, there's a photograph of I think it's the 58 teams.
Yeah, we'll bring that up and we'll show that team, the 58 team.
John Connor, you couldn't forget him.
Not at all.
He was a lovely hurler. He marked Jim Fives in the county final. In Furrows, and he did the hurler. Fives now, we say, wasn't as enthusiastic as John Connor would be, because he would only blow in.
Yeah, but still, he was a county hurler at the time.
Waterford and Galway.
You had some other history with Jim Fives, you said.
I tell you now, with Jim Fives, I played against him that day.
The county final, yeah.
Then I played with the Galway Uni in the Fitzgibbon Cup final, and he was refereeing the match.
You played for Galway University in a Fitzgibbon Cup final?
Yeah.
And did you win it?
No, we beat me a couple of points.
And Jim Fives refed it?
I did, and Jim Fives, I played with him in Belfast. It was Roscommon senior, the first team anyway.
Okay.
In Belfast. First time, Michael McInerney was a friend of our family.
Right.
And Michael got the Underage team to come to Furrows. And we played with it was Easter Sunday.
What year roughly is that?
Oh God, it has to be in the middle of the 1950s.
The 1950s, right. Yeah. So Ardurhan came to Furrows to play you.
Yeah, and we went up then and we played in I don't know, was it a 9-a-side or an 11-a-side tournament at South Galway.
In Ardurhan?
In Ardurhan. And then we went up another time and we played them in a challenge.
And how did you get on against them?
Well, the match we played in the tournament one was a draw, I think. But I just report of it.
I will check
it's in the
history book. Yeah. So, but you were competing at that level.
We were
comfortably.
We were, and they had. We played Loughreno in one of those
tournaments,
and Fergie Bensel and Mike Sweeney were on the team. They were on the Galway senior team at the time.
Okay. So that was a very, very high standard.
It was.
Yeah. The Furrows were competing well.
We were.
Yeah. So then, when did you play your last game for Furrows?
I think it was in 1962. We won the senior championship.
And that was your last?
That was my last.
Yeah. In 62. So when did you get involved in underage development then, or did you see a need for that at the time?
I walked into it more than anything else. Like,
right.
You know.
You were teaching at that stage?
Oh, I was teaching in 1955.
Yeah.
And I was in Fever.
Yeah. So you're in the parish as a teacher, so you started getting involved in underage hurling, organising underage hurling.
Yeah.
And there was very little...
It was a custom on in Roscommon,
right.
A hurling revival kind of for underage, and I was secretary of that for about 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. What was I going to say? If you ask me what was my greatest achievement in underage, I brought the 15 hurlers from Furrows to Roscommon in the car one day. Went down to Furrows, you see, and Bridie Me was coming to bring a load, and someone else,
right.
And there was a mix-up, and there was no telephones or anything.
No, of course not. There was no WhatsApps.
When I went down, there was not, and we were playing the CBS and Roscommon Gales, or whatever you call them, and Brother Dwyer would be there on the dot.
Yeah, very punctual, yeah.
The guarantee you'd have the match might be played, but not so. But anyway, I picked the 15 players in Furrows and went down into the Brothers Field in Roscommon.
You fitted them all in the car?
I don't know where they were, but there must be some in the boat.
and hurls?
And everything, anything we had.
Gear.
And we were leading by 3 goals to nothing when Bridie Me arrived with the rest of the team.
Right, so you had the 15 starters.
We were the 15 starters, yeah.
Gee, that is a massive achievement, all right. Now, in fairness, that was up there.
You'd be shocked now if you were.
So you started organising training for underage teams, and
I suppose we did.
You did, yeah. And for the first time, getting them together in regular training.
I remember one day we were training or hurling in Johnny Mee's field, and Johnny Mee came out and he was watching it. And he called me over when we had a break. Would you ever think of switching your full back and full forward? And I did what I did. Because you're Michael.
Michael, yeah.
and Mickey Lennon. I think those were the two.
You swapped them around.
And it made a team out of them.
Right, yeah. Mickey Lennon, a fine hurler as well.
Oh, yeah.
And Mickey Lennon was a very tall, strong player at underage level. Yeah. And PJ Moran would have been very strong physically.
PJ Moran was a lovely hurler.
Lovely hurler. So you developed those players, and the club has you to thank for in a lot of, because as they developed into men then and got onto the Rhodes team, you're looking at 2 Connacht championships, 77 and 88 came out of it, and serious hurling teams. So you're heavily involved, of course, then in the administration side of the GEA.
Secretary of the custom honour for 20 years.
Okay.
And then Dermot Airley's father rang me, and he said, Fonzie, he says, there's a vacancy coming up in the Connacht Council, would you go for it? And I said, no, I'm not interested. Another fella from Craig's, Palabrander, and he rang, he said, well, no, so I don't know who the third was, but I said I will, and I did.
Yeah.
So I got on the Connacht Council, I was voted on to
the Connacht Council, okay.
Yeah. And then I went from that to Croke Park, and I was on the Central Council for I don't know how long, about 15 years. And
there was a lot of work in that, Fonzie, I'd say. Would you have to call up much to Croke Park, or could you do a lot of it?
It was be hard going to Croke Park when I was on, but the meetings would be at a staggered distance.
So it was a big achievement, the Central Council particularly.
Well, I got on the Central Council, and then I got on the Management Committee, which was the top committee, and Jack Boothman, Lord of Mercy, rang me before the last meeting of the Central Council, and he said, Fonzie, would you not try to get on the Management Committee? He said, for my last year, he was president.
He was president of GEA,
well, says, as it happens, Jack, I'm going on it anyway.
Right.
Which was great.
Did you enjoy that, Fonzie?
I did. You
liked it. You
met so many good people.
Good friends, and all with the positive attitude and trying their best.
Yeah.
It was hugely significant for us and for Rhodes as well to have you there.
Well, I was about 15 years then on the bylaws committee. There was a special committee that dealt with rules and regulations and that. And you should only be on it for 3 to 5 years. But different presidents invited me to go on it again.
It's a very good side. You were doing a very good job
I was secretary of that committee. Yeah. And I got to know people from the whole world, actually, because, we'd be dealing with the bylaws from New York, North American Board,
of course.
Australia,
England.
England.
Huge,
there were 2 branches in England, England and London, you see. I know all this. I got to know so many people that way.
It's lovely. So we're going to finish up fairly soon, Fonzie, but you have a great story that just happened yesterday regarding a camogie match.
Oh, yeah. My granddaughter was playing for Roscommon Gales.
Okay.
And my daughter-in-law, her mother, was playing for Four Roses. And I wasn't at the match. I haven't been at the match because I can't see them.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway.
You heard about it.
Oh, Molly, the granddaughter, was cornerback on the Gales team, and Mammy was full forward, as far as I understand.
Yeah, I think they marked each other for a while.
They would have.
That would have been funny.
I was hoping now that Molly's team would win.
Right.
Because
I think they did, actually.
They did, but it will obviously mean more for her than to the mother.
That's lovely. Look, we really appreciate your time, Fonzie, and thanks so much for talking to us. And thanks for all you've done. As I said, you've done an enormous amount of work, both as a player and as a...
It was good for myself.
Yeah, you were very good at it. Thank you very much. Now, we're here in the town of Carrick, in not far from where I grew up myself, in Bushy Park. And we've looked so far at the early days. We've gone up through the early wins in the 20th century and then into the 40s, 50s. And now we're going to look at the 60s and 70s. And I'm delighted to be joined by two great men of Rhodes hurling here. And we're in the house of Lennon's house. I'm here with Pat Lennon and Mick Murphy. And hugely important, significant figures in the history of Rhodes hurling, particularly in the years we're going to be discussing now. So I'm going to start with yourself, Pat. Where did you pick up your interest in hurling? Was it from your father or the area, or what started you off in your
Oh, I would say it was the area now.
Right.
And nothing else much to do. We're just hurling every Sunday, and that was it.
And you're from a young age?
Yes, yeah.
And would you have club teams at that age group? Under 60, no?
Well, I did under 60. I won a medal myself in 1960, yeah.
1960?
Played Roscommon Gales.
You won a county title?
So I played in Tiernan's Field there, not where we're discussed there in front of that one, just as you go down the hill there, on the right hand side, that field there.
Yeah.
Remember being played there.
You won a county under 16 final there. And at minor level then, you had a decent team that time obviously as well.
No,
you didn't win it though.
No, I think minor raided us for a good few years.
Yeah, it did in my time as well.
It did, yeah.
And Mick, we're going to Mick Murphy from Four Roads. Your father came to the area from County Kerry.
Yeah.
And what year was that, or what brought him to Four Roads, Mick?
Oh, well, he went to America first.
Okay.
And he got married in America.
Right.
To my mother. She was fleeing from Oakland.
Okay. Not too far
away. They came home and they bought that place in Four Roads. But anyway, 1932, I think it was.
Okay. So would he have been from a hurling background, or had he an interest in hurling?
Oh, no, not really.
Not really.
Football.
Yeah. And so you grew up in the village of Four Roads?
Oh, I did.
So you were in the heartland of it?
I was in the heartland of it.
Yeah. And do you remember matches now from your youth, or going to see games?
Oh, I do. I'd be going back. I'd be going down the back of the bike to lead to matches.
Would you?
Oh,
your father would cycle?
Yeah. So a lot of cycling that.
Yeah, and do you have any county finals you remember? Any players at Four Roads you remember?
Oh, I do remember. I remember the Heabies.
Do you? Matty and Sean and...
Yeah, and Jerry O'Malley, but I played with Jerry O'Malley after.
Yeah.
But,
so you came onto the senior panel in the 60s or around that time?
In 59 to 60.
59 to 60. And Pat, you came onto the scene 62.
62 was, I think we had a good few injuries on the day, and I think that's why I got in on the team.
You've done very well.
I was there anyway.
So we're going to have a chat about that county final, 62. Where were you playing that day, Pat?
I was playing on the half forward line.
Were you?
Yeah.
And what's your memories from the day? Were you nervous? Your first big game?
I was nervous. So I was young, too young, I think.
What age were you?
16.
Oh, jeepers.
Just right.
Oh, yeah. And the hurling was tough.
I think Tommy Hind was injured and somebody else.
Just very young now.
Yeah.
For the physicality that...
That's right, but I don't think we had a huge panel.
Right.
I think maybe 20, I'd say, was on it.
Right.
If I remember rightly.
And you beat... You beat the Gales in 62.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, the Gales were always strong.
They would have been very strong.
Always strong. They had a lot of imports that were lads be working in town and things.
Did you train that time now?
Not a lot.
No, the training. I reckon we lost a good few finals there for the lack of training.
Okay, the last 10 or 15 minutes
died away.
Yeah.
I always reckoned that myself.
Yeah, so other teams, maybe Tremaine were doing a bit and the Gales
that's right.
Doing a bit extra.
They were doing it.
Yeah, I always reckoned the lack of fitness that we got caught out.
You know, we were just talking before we started on camera there about those training, or those get-togethers on a Sunday, where you would have hurled together for hours on a Sunday. Where did they take place, sir?
Johnny Mee's
field.
So and up at Hines is in
Jamestown.
And over in Mount Talbot.
Yeah, with the Tim Rover.
Yeah.
You're on about up behind Dolan's house there, across from Tracy's.
Yeah.
And what would that entail? You just all meet up?
Oh, yeah.
Would it be backs and forwards, or would it be a game?
It would be usually a game, you know. Throw in the bunch of hurls and throw them out and pick up. That would be...
That's how you pick the team?
Pick the team, more or less. It's often done that way now.
And was there no ref? Or?
Oh, no ref, no. Let fly.
Let fly. And then you won again.
71.
In 71. Yeah. And I have that team here. And we're going to put up this team, 1971, up as well for you to look at. And this one was captained by a very famous Faroes hurler. We Mick Murphy captained this team.
Yeah.
And on the back left there, we have James Mooney, Pat Lennon, Michael Lennon,
P. Kelly.
P. Kelly was from Dysart.
Yeah. That's Donald Kelly, Lord Mercy.
Donald Kelly.
That's Michael Gately.
Michael Gately, again. Benny Tansey, super hurler, yeah. Frank Mitchell. Front row.
Sean Morton.
Starting on the left, Sean Morton.
Tom
Turley in Cloneycolleg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny Dolan.
Neighbour here, Johnny Dolan, yeah.
Brian Mitchell.
Joe Moore. Paddy Dolan. And I don't know the lad on the bottom right.
I don't know that lad.
Mick Murphy, yeah.
The Evergreen Mick Murphy.
Evergreen, yeah. That was an excellent team.
Oh, that was supposed to be one of them.
Yeah. Who did you beat that year, Mick?
Bet Dominics.
St. Patrick's, they were known at the time.
Yeah.
And no, that was a very, very good team. What's your memories from that county final? I don't remember much about my county final.
It was a bad day anyway.
They usually were.
So it was.
Yeah.
It was low scoring too now because the weather was bad and the grass had been long them times.
Yeah. Where was that held?
In down that league.
In that league?
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw up another photograph now of the presentation of the cup in 71. And there we have you, Mick, accepting the trophy from...
Brian Kelly and the Lord Mercy.
Yeah.
He was chairman of the county board and he was playing with Dominic.
And he was on the team that lost.
He was.
And he had to present you with the cup.
That's right.
Yeah, he doesn't seem too disappointed there. It's a lovely photograph. So we've Mickey Lennon, Paddy Dolan, Michael Gately, Brian Kelly,
Tom Turley.
I don't know. That's you, Mick, anyway.
Joe Moore.
Joe Moore's beside you. And
Frank Mitchell. Donald Kelly. There's Jack Murray at the back.
Was Jack involved? Probably in the backroom team.
He could be selector.
Yeah. And that, who's here? That's
Jimmy Naughton.
Jimmy Naughton in Clahan, it is, yeah. And the last person...
Sean Moore.
Sean Moore again. So we go on to 77. Just by the way, 1971, Faroes 3-3, St. Patrick's 2-4.
I think it was
that was the score on that. So 1977, now you're on about there, the finest, that 71 team, but I'm looking at this 77 team.
Was a great team.
Oh, jeepers.
That was the best
This
team.
was an extraordinary hurling team. Now we're going to put this up as well. Exceptionally talented team. 1977, I had the pleasure of playing hurling with some of these guys. We're getting to an area now where I know a lot of these fellas. So just the back row on the left is Patsy Kelly.
That's right, yeah.
And then we've Mickey Lennon from this house here. And Frank Mitchell. Benny Tansey. Fitzgerald.
Seamus Fitzgerald.
Where was Seamus from?
He was in Ballyforn.
A right good hurler. Michael, my brother was telling me. He played full forward.
Yeah, he did.
He was a big man.
Oh, he was a big man.
Like he's a big, like Benny Tansey's a big man, and beside. So then you have Frank Carty, a young Frank Carty coming on the scene, bursting on the scene, and Jimmy Curley on the far right of the back row. Front then on the left,
Tom Fallon,
Frank Graham, Mick Murphy, the great Mick Murphy, Paddy Dolan, Michael Gately, the goalkeeper.
That's
my brother Michael. That was his first county title. 77. Johnny Dolan here, neighbour, and
Sean Moore.
And that's a different Sean Moore now.
That's PJ's
brother.
That's right.
No, he scored 5 points that day.
He did. He did.
And he's a very good hurler.
That's 5 points from playing a county final. Is 2-16 to 2-6 in the county final.
Yeah.
That was a big win.
Oh, it was.
Because that was a right good Tremaine team.
And I think
the Connacht Championship
there was an objection in Galway.
So you got through to the All-Ireland semi-final.
That's the year.
That's right, yeah.
And you played who in that?
Played
Ratnewer from Wexford.
Wexford, yes.
Yeah.
So what time of the year did you have to play them? Can you remember?
It was February. March.
February. The following year.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you trained hard over the Christmas for that one.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. Scoreline was 220 to 28.
That's right.
And like you were missing a couple of
But says fairly good at reasonably.
Yeah. No, you got very good. I know
Yeah,
match reports afterwards and that were very positive about that performance.
that's right.
Didn't something happen? The bus going down.
Did it? The bus broke down, didn't it?
Someone said that.
It did. You're all on the bus.
Dear, I wasn't there.
No,
was
I
with
drove
Pat.
down.
Oh, you
so
drove
we
down.
drove
I
down.
was with Pat.
So you're in Wexford Park, the two of you going to take on Ratnew on your own. Yeah. 78, 79, didn't win a county title.
Yeah, we should have won a few titles with that very good team now.
That's 77.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing, I would say.
Yeah, because he went a few years there, and I think Japan won 2 or 3 that time after that.
That's right, yeah.
And then, of course, we're into the 80s, and we're going to discuss a lot of that with Frank Carty
That's right.
and the great success in that. But you were there in the 81, 82, 83, 3 in a row.
I was involved with them that
You
time.
were,
I was
yeah.
selected that time. That's
You
right.
were still there, Mick.
I was hanging in. I know I played in 88 here and 81, I think, or came on as a sub.
You're in all the photos, yeah. As I said earlier, you were in every photo from 1900 to 2000. I thought sort of a long hurling career. You must have been playing a long, long time, Mick.
Oh, I was playing a long time.
You know.
14
But
started.
you never had much of injuries. You seem to keep injury free.
Nothing serious, but
No, because you didn't spare it. Like I remember you. Look at lads. Thanks for talking. It was great to look back in particularly the 60s and the 70s, and I have a few things here that we've covered everything. Do you know? And the county final wins in 62, 71, 77, and then 81, 82 and 83. And we'll go through all that again. Really appreciate your time and very enjoyable. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Lovely. So far we have looked at the history of Roads through the 20th century. Of course, Pat Joe Manuel went back as far as county finals in 36 from that on. And we've looked at the 40s and 50s and 60s. And there, the last people we met, of course, was Mick Murphy, Pat Lennon. We looked at the 60s and 70s. So we're coming into an area now, or an era, that's very familiar to myself. I was born in 74, so coming into the late 70s, it's the early 80s, and throughout the 1980s, you're at that very impressionable age, a very important age, where what's around you dictates what you become in many ways. And I was very, very lucky to be witnessing what was, in hurling terms, the nearest thing to perfection in what was on view in Roads hurling at that time. And I remember the 3 in a row in the early 80s. I remember the loss in 84 to Pierce's and the great team in 86, captained by my brother Michael and my brother Hubie playing as well. And Michael used to collect me for every training session. He'd come collect me. I'd grab my hurl, I'd go up to Johnny Mees or up to Ballyfourn or up to Lusmore or Burr or Abbeylockmoy or Sarsfields, travelling to challenge matches against top teams in the country at the time. And just as a matter of fact, Michael worked in Sligo at the time and used to have to come down from Sligo over the old road through the Curlew Mountains for training and for matches that he did regularly, missed very, very few. And he was someone that I looked up to enormously, a huge role model, and someone I still look up to enormously. And I was witnessing top class hurling at a very, very impressionable age and a very, very important age. And all we wanted to do was play senior hurling for Roads. That was all my generation. We were inspired by what we were looking at. And of course, that culminated in a Connacht final win in 1988 when Roads beat the Galway champions Abbeylockmoy up in Ballyfourn on the field of play in a very, very, very good performance in a Connacht final. And a very, very good performance in 1991 in a Connacht final as well. So you think of iconic lines on any team in hurling, I think is always a half-back line. Particularly back then it was your first line of defence and in fact was the first line of attack as well. And you had Fidderty, Keady, McInerney, and you think of O'Halpine and Gardner and Curran and Cork. But we witnessed what I would think, and what any of us that saw it would think was the finest half-back line ever to play hurling anywhere, and that was My brother Michael Connolly, Frank Carty and Johnny Dolan. Three very, very different hurlers, completely different styles, but telepathy between them. They knew each other's styles, they knew each other's strengths, and they played outstanding hurling for many years for Rhodes. And I'm delighted now to be sitting in Turpan in the house of the man in the centre of that centre half-back position, in Frank Carty, and we're going to talk about Frank's extraordinary hurling career and his massive contribution to that great success in the 1980s. So Frank, we'll go back to the start. When your formative years, where did you get your interest from hurling? Or
my interest started, I'd say, at school. Played a bit of hurling in Ballyfour National School. In the class I was in Ballyfour, we had a very big class, a lot of boys in the particular class. Yeah. And I remember on one occasion, back years ago, we had a teacher from Athlone called Sonny Kinney. Okay. And for some unknown reason, we had a challenge match against Four Roads. Right. And the Lord's mercy on the two men are dead now. But Master Lohan brought up his team from Four Roads, highly fancied to beat Ballyfour in Ballyfour, of course. Yeah. And we beat Four Roads in Ballyfour in that hurling match. Yeah. And it was nothing really, I suppose, looking back on it, but at the time it was huge to have beaten the Four Roads school. So I kind of got interested in hurling then, and then I started playing. Fonzie Tully would be the man who really introduced me to hurling.
Of course, he was at Ballyfour.
He was, and he was absolutely outstanding.
You went to Fela.
We were actually we were the first Roscommon team to compete in hurlers. Now we played the host game. It was our first game, and they beat us. Burgess beat us in the first game on the Saturday, and we played two other games and we won the other two. But there was only one team coming out of the group, so we stopped at that. But we had the opportunity then to go to the final, and there was. And as the
in the main pitch in Thurles now?
Oh, there was Thurles main pitch, yeah. Oh. Yeah. But there was different levels, was A and B and C. And we were in, which section we were in now? I played under 16 football for Roscommon for 2 years, yeah.
County under 16
County under 16, yeah. Played with a very good Roscommon team. I'd say then we played minor football for 2 years with Roscommon. And
you've played 2 years?
Yeah.
And who would have went on to senior success?
Well, we said of that minor team, Tony McManus.
Oh, jeepers, right, the best.
Gay Sheridan was the goalie.
Oh,
yeah,
top class.
We'd have Seamus Hayden. We'd have
excellent.
There was
4 or 5.
There was Jerry Fitzmaurice. Was,
of course.
Came centre half back.
Under 16, under minor hurling.
There was. You were playing that as well. Yeah, we actually played an under 16 All Ireland, I suppose, specials or B or whatever, and we played an All Ireland minor as well. Okay. Different state. But I played in both the finals.
And so then, when did you make your senior debut?
For Rhodes?
For Rhodes in senior hurling. Or when did you start training with them?
I'd say I started. I was involved in 75.
And they got to the county final?
In 75. So I'd say around 74 or 73 I started coming into the,
you just get
the picture
training
of it,
as a young guy.
That's right.
So you won a county title in 77?
Won a county title in 77.
That was your first
my first to win, yeah. We lost in 75 to Wet League. Yeah. And we won it in 77 with a fantastic team.
That was a super team. We went through it with Mick Murphy and Pat Lennon there. An outstanding team.
That was the best team for us, I think, I ever played in anyway.
And then, when did you decide to get involved with training them, or what? How did that come about?
Well, that came about by pure accident. Now, would you believe that?
Right, you were nominated. Yeah. You got it without you know.
Well, I'll tell you, it was actually unbelievable now. It was in January.
What year?
1980.
1980, okay.
Yeah, 1980.
Coming into familiar country for me now.
Yeah, 1980. And I don't know, but for some reason we had to play Dominic's. It must have been a league match from the previous year or something like that.
Early in the year?
In January. It was just completely off, and there was no hurling done or anything, of course.
Wintered well.
So we went down to Knockcrockery and played them below anyway in Knockcrockery. And when the game was over, someone announced in the dressing room that the AGM was on. And would we go back to as many as possible? Go back to it. Have numbers
Day by day,
yeah. And the AGM was in the old school in Four Roads.
Oh, it's gone since.
It's gone since, correct, yeah. And I remember going. I went into it because I had no rest to go on the way home, so I went in just for the sake of going in. Yeah. And there was a big fire down, and the meeting started, and sure I had no more, and no more notion going in to be a team manager or anything like that. It wouldn't even be me. But the AGMs that time now were pretty much straightforward.
Yeah.
Boris back in block.
Yeah.
That's the way to be. Like, there was no one contesting positions or anything like that. But the job of team manager came up.
Yeah.
And, I don't know who was team manager the previous year, not to be honest about it. But James Mooney nominated me.
Right.
And at that stage, this was not talked about. James Mooney never spoke about team management to me or anything like that. And
but he could see.
But
he could see what a lot couldn't.
I said, sure, I have no interest in this now, and I'm playing football.
At what age were you, Frank?
23.
23 years of age?
Yeah.
Right, you had other interests, playing football, hurling, and...
Oh yeah, playing a lot of football now at the time. And,
you would have been,
I was actually, there was a man over Roscommon over the under 21 team at the time called Tom Heenan. He brought Roscommon to a lot of final. And Tom, he said to me, Frank, he said, if you want to come on to the Roscommon panel, he said, I want you on it, football panel, he said, you're going to have to give up playing hurling. He said, because you can't be doing two things. Okay. He said, we'd want total commitment from you. And I wanted to play hurling as well, so I declined the offer anyway.
So there was a potential senior football career with Roscommon there.
Oh yeah, I was playing good football.
You were asked to come on to the panel.
Oh, I was playing very good football, yeah. I was indeed playing extra
but
stuff.
you just felt...
I wanted to play for hurling as well, And by hook or by crook, I became team manager.
Okay.
Leaving that day, I left as team manager for us. Like for me, it was a daunting task coming into them bunch of fellas. Like had all the experienced players there, like that had been there, Brian Mitchell and Michael Murphy and Pat Lennon and Mickey Lennon, all great hurling people in for us. When I took it on, I said, well, we'll change things around a good bit now from where it was. I knew what they were doing hadn't been good enough. Like they'd been beaten. Forwards were beaten, I think, in 4 county finals in the 60s by Roscommon Gaels.
Yeah.
And I was at all the matches, and Forwards never changed a thing. They just kept going out and repeating what they were doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just good enough to win a county final. So I decided anyway that we'd start training early. I put in a bit of a foundation early on, not knowing how to want to go.
Yeah. Well, if they're so used to not.
Oh, gee, yeah.
Change is always difficult.
I remember well anyway, we decided to start training early in February, and for Rhodes Mass was at 11 o'clock. So I said we'd train after for Rhodes Mass in Johnny Meals field.
Yeah.
So down we go anyway. Great turnout below for Rhodes. Went out anyway and just hit the ball around, had a game of hurling, and we said we'd do the same again the following Sunday. Trained extremely hard. And the league started, that year there was a very good league in Roscommon that time now. And it's competitive, all the teams were competitive that time. You had Tremaine top of the pile by a good bit.
Yeah.
And then you had at league, always thereabouts.
Yeah.
Dominic's, you had a very good team in Ballygar.
Of course.
And you had Ord. Every day you go out now, you'd have to be, you wouldn't be sure of winning any game. And you'd be sure going playing against Tremaine, you got well beaten.
What was Tremaine training?
Tremaine weren't training at the time.
No.
But they had won county finals and they won a Connacht club. And they had a team that were purely hurlers.
Young,
and strong.
Physically
strong. And Tremaine's game was very, very simple.
Yeah.
If you got a ball cornerback, you just poked it down the field and the next man could win the ball down there.
Yeah.
That's sort of
your job. Everyone had their own job.
Everyone had their own job. Everyone looked after their own corner.
So to catch up to those guys, Frank, you felt we had to work. You needed to work.
We had to work very, very hard. But anyway, we started playing the Roscommon League and we were just annihilating teams. We were winning by 15, 20
So you'd been training 2 or 3, 4 months at that stage?
At this stage, and
you'd put the work in.
You had to put the work in. And I remember I said to myself, we'll never play a bad challenge match. And if a team beats us by 20 points, if they're better than us, we might learn a bit from them. So we started playing very good teams. We started playing the best we could get. And I remember one particular day we played Sarsfields. Now the Fonzie Tully again was my contact here.
He'd have contacts in Galway,
And I remember saying to Fonzie, I said, we're trying to get good games now. I said, good Fonzie, would you have any contact in Galway? I have, says Fonzie, I'll have a right one, he says. David McGann was chairman of Sarsfields. And Fonzie and David McGann were very close.
Okay.
Knew each other very, very well. So, but this was a bit later on there. This could be into April now, I'd say. Maybe, yeah, about April, I'd imagine it was. Late in April now. And he said he'll set up a game for you with Sarsfields. And Fonzie came back and said he had the game organised for, and they're coming to Ballyforan.
Oh, they travelled down?
Down to Ballyforan at 12 o'clock on a Sunday. Now, he said, Frank, you'll have to have a good team out.
Yeah.
They're bringing their full team down.
Okay.
He's still untold Jimmy Cooney, the Lord Mercer and Jimmy now.
Yeah, fine hurler.
Michael Keneally, their goalie. Michael Mulcairn said they'll have a full team down. He said now, and he said that they're actually a team that's fancy to win out Galway that particular year. So we played them in lovely day in Ballyforan, beautiful day in Ballyforan, and we beat them.
Their full squad?
Beat their full squad in Ballyforan, the full Sarsfields team. And it didn't mean much to us at the time because we were just beginning to more or less learn. And
it was your first challenge match?
We had played some previous to that now, but this was the first big one. This was the big one, yeah. And the speed of their hurling was brilliant, but we actually beat them. And they were very, very disappointed. They were very disappointed to lose that game. And I remember that day, we were going to Ballyforan, tugging, we used to go up the steps to the back of the hall.
I there myself,
into the dressing rooms. And I remember the Lord Mercer and Jimmy Cooney was in front of me, or 2 or 3 in front of me. He broke his hurl. When he turned to go up the steps, he hit his hurl against the wall.
Made 2 halves.
Made 2 halves of his hurl. He was that fixed.
Yeah.
And we had a bit of a meal organised for them below in the pub afterwards in Ballyforan. And I'd say it was 45 minutes before they came down.
Okay.
And they reckoned there was an awful, I'd say, serious discussion in their dressing room afterwards as to where they were at. To come down to Ballyforan and Roscommon team to beat them. And they always having their full team out. Very disappointing. Maybe very eye-opening for them as well.
But they came for the meal.
Oh, they came. Oh, they did. They came.
And then they went on to massive success, of course.
They won the county final that year. We qualified for a semi-final, and we met Tremaine in the semi-final.
Of the league?
Of the championship.
Championship?
Yeah. The league fizzled out then.
Yeah.
Don't know how the league finished out, but we qualified then for the semi-final, and we met Tremaine in the semi-final of it. Below that league, beautiful day below that league. And, both teams are really up for this one now, because the winners of this was going to win the county final.
Yeah.
This was the county final.
This was the hard side of the draw.
Yeah. So anyway, it was one of the best games ever played in that league. We lost by a point.
1 point.
We were beaten by 1 point that day.
But it was a
fantastic game of hurling. It really was now. And
where were you playing, Frank?
Centre half back.
You were at 6 at that stage?
Centre half back, yeah.
Okay.
I was centre half. From the time I took over, I was centre half back.
You were 6 from there on?
Michael and Johnny Dolan.
Michael and Johnny Dolan.
Yeah.
My God.
Andy Lawler, Seamus, and Nicky Lennon was our full back. Yeah. And Patsy was midfield and Tom Fall. But anyway, we were devastated after that now. We really were devastated because we had put so much into it and we had trained so hard. And the lads in for us now, they had never put in this before.
Yeah.
Jeez, they were absolutely devastated now. And funny is that, unlike other years now, we have trained, I know we have trained very hard, but we've built up a great team spirit in that. And we've played 28 games of hurling this year. Other years, what have we play? 10, less maybe. But and we've played the best. We've played Sarsfields, Kiltormer, Athenry, Lochray, St. Rylands, Burr, Lusma, Castlegar.
They were the top teams in Ireland.
Every top team. So we never played one bad team. We played Thurlockmore, we played St. Thomas's, who are dominating Galway at the moment. But anyway, in 1981, we went back at it again. And we absolutely drove it on as hard as we could again. And we, this particular year, we got to the county final and we were playing Tremaine in the county final.
Yeah, you're back Tremaine, the old rivals.
Old enemy there again, the county final.
Yeah.
And we had a fabulous game of hurling with them again. And at the end of the day, we were a point down. We were a point down.
We were going to lose by a point again?
Yeah, we were a point down and time up.
Right. Another titanic battle.
Oh, stop it, yeah. And, I was saying to myself, it was a long range free. Now, Paddy Dolan took it.
Yeah.
And it was a long range free. I know, was it a 70 or was it I think it was a 70. Paddy took it anyway. And I was directly behind Paddy and he'd taken the 70 now. The ball went over the bar. It went up and the game was level.
Right.
The whistle blew and the game was level. And we came off that pitch anyway and went back into the dressing room and we hadn't lost now, we hadn't won it either, and you know, it was all to play for.
And you had that massive effort put in again.
Savage again. If we lost that one now, we were in serious trouble. But I remember saying to the lads anyway, players to go up to Keynes now tonight for a pint, we'll go back to Four Roads. And we'll put a limit on power drinking. The limit will be 3 pints. And we'll go home. And I said 3 pints.
When was the replay?
I think it's the following Sunday.
Following Sunday, okay, yeah.
So I said 3 pints won't take us that long now. I said an hour
yeah.
and we'll be going. I said, I'll be the last man leaving Kyle's. I said, to make sure we're all out.
Yeah.
And I said, whatever you do, lads, I said, we're gone this far now, do not go back drinking again tonight. And I said, we'll meet on Tuesday night and we'll just do a bit of hurling. With everything else done. Just do a bit of hurling and just try and maybe
nurse whatever injuries you have.
We're doing. And
yeah.
So we did that anyway and played them the following Sunday.
And there was full buy-in for this 3 pints now.
Oh yes.
You were the last
100%,
out.
100%, yeah. Liam Kyle said to me, Lord Mercy, Liam Kyle, he said, Frank, he said, that was a fabulous game of hurling today, he said. And he said, you'll win the replay. And just I said to Liam, said, I hope you are right, Liam, now. He said, I am right. He said, you're the best hurlers. So we went anyway, and we played them in the replay, and the replay was a good game of hurling, but for us, we won it well.
You won it well.
We won that game well now.
There's just one photo here, Frank. There's quite a few, but it's taken during the match. And I'm just looking at there was big crowds at those games.
Oh, there's fabulous crowds, great support. Always was 5 and 6 deep all around the
whole pitch.
Yeah, standing before them, great atmosphere for all them games.
We were witnessing
fabulous hurling.
Excellent hurling.
Fabulous hurling, yeah. Fabulous hurling. But there was a serious hurling in Roscommon that time.
There was, yeah.
There was great clubs. And Ballygar was great to Roscommon. They brought in some fabulous hurlers from Ballygar. Yeah. And they were always very hard to beat, and they just brought the standard up a bit as well. But like the county teams reflect that at the time as well. Like our county team was going very well, Roscommon were. Yeah. Like we got promoted to Division 2. You know, when we beat the likes of Waterford and Dublin, and we were able to beat Kerry and Carlow and Meath and Wicklow and Derry and all these good teams. Yeah. And
beat Wexford in the centenary.
Beat Wexford in the centenary year, yeah. And actually we played Tipperary in the Division 2 hurling Blownlet League and had a fabulous game against them.
Did you?
Oh, we did, yeah. We did. We played Cork in that centenary year, and they went on to win the Centenary Cup that year, and they won the All-Ireland final that. Would you believe that particular day, 81, I seen old men of us crying.
Yeah. Yeah. It meant that much.
That team.
Yeah. They were an extraordinary team.
But the full parish.
Yeah, like John Mullery is there. You know, the joy at his pace. Played senior hurling for Four Roads, and you know, it's just what he brought to the parish. And they knew the work he put in and the effort.
Yeah, hugely appreciated by all the parish.
Yeah.
Really.
We might just have a look at the team, Frank. You might name them, starting at the back, at the left, back left, and just their position.
Well, Patsy Kelly was midfield. Yeah. Mickey Lennon was corner back. PJ Morton wing half forward. Yeah. Jimmy Curley corner forward. James Dowd
full back.
Was full back. Yeah. My friend there, Michael Connolly, beside me, wing half back.
Never too far away from you. Yeah.
The great Frank Mitchell midfield. Tom Fallon midfield. The great Johnny Dolan the other side of me. Yeah. Michael Murphy. Great man from Four Roads there. Yeah. On that Beardy Gately, Porry Gately.
Yeah, so
the next was probably the best hurler I ever seen playing in Four Roads, Paddy Dolan. Outstanding hurler.
Yeah.
Oh, Paddy was genius. Yeah. The next man, Michael Gately, was our goalie.
Yes.
And in my time in hurling and football, I never came across a man like him.
Okay.
He was the best clubman ever I came across. I was next to Michael there.
There you were.
Yeah, I was next to Michael there.
There you are.
And there was a great hurler, Sean Morton.
That's Four Roads, Sean Morton. PJ's brother.
PJ's brother, yeah. Sean is a fabulous hurler.
Yeah.
There's Frank Graham, our full forward, just lives up the road from here.
Beside us here, yeah. Frank.
And there's Andy.
Andy Lawler, cornerback.
Cornerback, yeah. Frank was full forward, Sean was wing half forward, I was centre back. Michael goalie, Paddy was corner. Porrick was midfield, Murphy full forward. Yeah. Oh, they were very good. To come back to get the players having pride in the jersey. Pride of where they came from, like, and what they were doing, and the pride of wearing the jersey and not letting any other jersey beat you, like. You'd know it in the dressing room before the big game. I generally do the talking before the game.
I remember.
Yeah, and geez, you'd have lads hopping there.
You would.
Yeah, and you could bring a fella back there to your father before you, or your grandfather before you was there. Wore the jersey. And I remember we won that county final in 81, and the next year we played with Ballygar.
82
in the county final.
So you done the same thing. You're training from February, challenge matches again, the same commitment.
Same commitment, and Ballygar was the opposition. Now Ballygar were a seriously good team. They really were now, and they had very, very good hurlers.
Which they proved a few years later.
They did indeed. Ballygar could have won a Connacht club. Should have won a Connacht club.
Lost by a point.
Lost by a point.
Did you beat Ballygar by much in 82?
82 was a tight game. As far as I remember, 2 or 3 points. 2 or 3 points. It was a tight game against Ballygar. Won that county final, and we went on then again the next year to try and. The big thing was the 3 in a row. That was the big thing.
Hadn't been done since the 1905, 4, 5, 6 and 7.
Yeah, the team. My father, the Lord Mayor, always told me about this great Forroads team. He used to call them the mock galores, full and plenty.
Yeah. Would your father have gone to games?
Oh, yes, he would, yeah.
So there was an interest in hurling in the house?
Oh, there was. And my father was a great GM man.
Was he?
Great football man, great GM. Loved it, like,
so the 3 in a row was the holy grail.
Oh, this is the one that we had to win.
Yeah.
So we bet them in the semi-final, we played Ballygar in the final. And another huge game with Ballygar, game that could have went either way. But we won it, thankfully we won it. And we had put that 3 in a row on our backs, and we had. Yeah. It was a great achievement for us at that stage.
And then you were saying there that 77 team was outstanding.
Outstanding team.
The team Michael Connolly captained in 86.
Yeah.
Now, in my view, because that's my memory, I was 12 years of age. That was an outstanding team.
Oh, outstanding team. It really was, yeah.
And now we won't go through. I'll put up the picture on the screen. But Michael was captain, and. Again, you'd a few. New Hubie was there. You'd a few. Jerry Tully, Adrian Tully, Mickey Cuniff was on the panel.
Yeah.
So you're bringing through again. You seem to always have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Coming.
Yeah.
Well, which was vital.
It was. The Lord Mayor said Mickey Cuniff. I and John, the two of them now, they were two fabulous.
And had you been manager consistently from 80?
No.
There was a few. Mickey Lennon was involved for a year.
I managed 1980. 81, 82, 83 and 84. I wasn't involved in 85, 86 or 87 as team manager.
But you were playing
of
number
course,
6.
But not involved, yeah.
Brian Mack would have been involved, and Pat Dillon and Pack and various people.
That's right. So I took it on in 88 after the 3-year gap.
Okay.
And we started off again back the way we would have started. And we started training early on, and we started going, we were happy with the way things were going.
You liked what you were seeing,
we were going well, hurling well, and we had Simon Coyle in at that stage, with Declan Coyle in, and we had
Mickey Cuniff, of course.
Mickey was in, you see, we had John, we had kind of a new bunch coming through. Yeah.
So you won that well, that county final?
We won the county final well. Won the county final well enough. Now we were happy with it. We played and we won it fairly well.
And were you seeing at that stage, Frank, were you seeing that there's potential here in Connacht?
Well, I'll tell you what I was seeing, Paul. I had one great desire in my time. Yeah. From the time we had success winning the 3 in a row and that, and coming on and winning 86, there was one thing left.
It was Nealon.
Big time.
Yeah.
That was the Connacht club. That was a big thing for me now. It really was. And I used to always say to the fellas in the dressing room, hurling in Forroads is tradition. And hurling in Forroads is as important to them as hurling in Tipperary or Kilkenny or anywhere else in the country.
Absolutely.
We'd be as proud of our hurling as anybody else. Yes.
Did you know at that stage who you were playing in the Connacht final?
No, we didn't know. But we had played Abbey-Knockmoy early on in the year. So we played Abbey-Knockmoy probably in April or May
in a challenge match
above an Abbey one evening or one Sunday morning. And we had a very good game with them, and they beat us by about, I think it was 5 points. And they were, would you believe, Abbey-Knockmoy was fancied to win the Galway final.
They would have. Michael Coleman.
That's right, that particular year. And we went up to the goal. We find it was in Bannislow, and I think it was Athenry that played in it.
They were coming that time, I think. Yeah.
And it was a draw game. So it was a replay.
So you need an extra bit of time then as well.
Yes, yeah. And Athenry or Abbey Lochmoy won the replay. And that set up the game for ourselves then with them. I always was saying to the lads that this was our chance now. If we're ever going to do it, this is the one we'll do it in. And we prepared very well for that game now.
How did you do anything different with them? Did you? What sort of edge did you use there, or did you?
Well, the only edge I was constantly using that time was that we needed to prove ourselves.
I know, just
we had to come out of Roscommon and prove ourselves that we were.
Yeah.
We had been the dominant team in Roscommon now, and we needed to come out now and
make a statement.
Tremaine had done it. In their day.
Of course.
They had done it in their day.
12 years previously.
And if Tremaine could do it, I said, surely to God we can do it. I remember that day at half time going into the dressing room, and there wasn't very much in the game. I think it was 3 or 4 points. Abbey Lochmoy 3 or 4 up on us. And I still, at half time, I realised that we really had a chance here now. And the big thing for us then was to hold on to them as much as we could, because if they started to go 5 or 6 or 7 clear, it was going to get very difficult. So we really had to try and
curtail
for the next 10 minutes.
Keep in the game.
Keep in the game and keep there, and let it develop after that and see how it went.
Paddy scored a point just after half time to make it 4-3. But then Abbey Lochmoy got a goal. Pat Blade got a goal. And he followed that up with a point, and they went 1-5 to 3. 1 point to 3, 1-5 to 3 points up. But you still kept in the game.
Still in the game. We were still hurling okay.
Very well.
Yeah, we were still hurling okay, and they weren't dominating any area. And we were still hurling okay. 5-point lead. If they started pulling at that stage away from us, we were in serious trouble, no doubt. But we were still able to hold our own at that stage.
Yeah, so it went to 1-7 to 4 points, and then Simon Coyle got the goal. 1-7 to 1-4.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking then?
Game is on now.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah.
Game is on now, and we were really at that stage believing maybe at that stage there's a chance here now.
There's a chance here.
Yeah.
And Paul Dolan scored a point, 1-7 to 1-5.
Yeah.
And then Tommy Grehan came on for you.
Yes.
And he proved a good substitute. Paul Dolan's goal, 7 minutes left, 1-7 to 2-4. At that stage, Frank, you believed.
I believed if it could hold, if it could keep holding on to them. And that was going through the full team.
Yeah.
And we'd keep driving at them, keep holding them out as much as we could.
Yeah.
Every fella, this was it now.
Yeah. Paddy Dolan goal, 1-7 to 3-5. At that stage.
Yeah.
You were starting to breathe. But they came at you again.
Oh, but at that stage
they came at you in waves.
They threw the kitchen sink at us then.
Yeah, they made a couple of substitutions, good substitutions.
They're really thundering into the game then. And everyone at that forwards bunch then really had to dig in.
Yeah.
And the fact that they had so much experience behind us, I think, and we had been playing good, strong teams.
At that level.
Yeah, and there was no real panic. There was no panic in our team. We didn't actually start to panic. We held our positions and held what we're doing okay. And we were, you'll be hoping for the final whistle. And the big thing is that they'd get a goal or two in the last minute. And
which happened to us a lot of times. You do concede, but you didn't. You held out.
We held out. Now, famous victory like.
Yeah.
Lochmoy, in what surely must be an upset. 4 Roads are Connacht senior hurling champions for 1988.
The captain of the 4 Roads club, Paul Dolan.
That's it!
To Frank Carty.
Frank Carty, 4 Roads, has been awarded the Man of the Match award. Frank Carty, the centre back for the 4 Roads team, he has been presented now with his Man of the Match award by. And what a good game he had for 4 Roads, Frank Carty.
So we've actually come up to Ballyfourn. We've seen just there now Paul Dolan accept the cup for the Connacht Final Cup, and Frank Carty accept the Man of the Match award. So we're standing actually in the location where you accepted that award there in 1988, Frank. But just, we'll go back a bit to arriving at the pitch and coming in here. This is a massive occasion for you. And the mood, what was the mood like? And
on that particular occasion, coming into Ballyfourn, it was coming into the pitch. St Aidan's, we'll say stewards and officials had everything organised. They had the parking organised, that both teams come as near as possible to the pitch and dressing rooms.
Yeah.
And on the way from the shop up to Ballyfourn, the first time ever I seen that a field open there.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, just down here.
For cars?
For cars to
park. Yeah.
And that was manned by stewards from St Aidan's. So you'd know at that stage then that there was something
big
going on. Yeah. The day itself was November's Day.
Yeah.
It was dark-ish overhead.
Crisp
day.
Yeah.
There was a slight breeze blowing, but if you were coming as a spectator, you'd need your coat and your scarf and your cap and everything else.
Yeah.
That coldness was in the air.
I remember it.
Yeah. And then we warmed up at this end of the pitch here, the scoring end we call it, in Ballyfourn. And we went back in then and we did our final preparation and came back out.
Okay.
But there was a great sense of occasion in Ballyfourn that
there was. I was standing over there.
Oh yeah.
Myself and my dad, God rest him, and us all. And the final whistle.
The final whistle.
You seemed very, you know, you went up and collected your Man of the Match award. What was your emotions?
Well, it was when that final whistle blew. It was something that team probably dreamed about achieving all their life.
Yeah.
You know, and we prepared for that.
8 years, really.
Really 8 years preparing for that day. And
winning here in Ballyfourn must have been special for yourself, being your home.
It was. It really was.
You went to school here, and
it was. And plus the fact, from a Road's point of view, that this was our home pitch.
Yeah.
This was where
you done the hard training down in Johnny Mee's, and
Johnny Mee's really was. The Johnny Mee and Johnny Mee family were fantastic people to give that facility for
agricultural land.
That's what it was, you see, Paul. It was
handing it over to.
It was farming ground.
Yeah.
And it was grazed with sheep and lambs.
I remember it well.
And cows and calves. And there was 2 goalposts in it.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And we honed our skills and made our mistakes. And
oh yeah. And there was no dressing rooms.
No.
There was nothing like that.
The matches.
Out on the side of the road, and you know. But still, it was the place that you could really work hard.
Yeah, that's where you put in your hard work.
You could really work hard and get the lads into great shape down there. And you know, hurling sometimes on an even surface and a place that wouldn't be just perfect for hurling. Didn't do us one bit of harm.
When you get to a surface like this, then
didn't do one bit of harm.
You honed your skills here then, and you improved. And
yes, well, what happened then was, we had a lot of hard work done in for roads now. We had an awful lot of training done, and we had a lot of running done, and a lot of sprinting and whatever else it took. But then we decided we'd take it a step further and we'd look for challenge matches of quality.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
We just couldn't play them in four roads.
No.
So we approached St Aidan's, our sister club here in Ballyfourn, and I would have to give them absolutely 100% credit.
Yeah.
And I'd say on behalf of the Roads Hurling Club, I would have to thank them sincerely for making this facility available to us. And
so you had your showers and dressing rooms,
everything. We had a
car park and
pizza house completely enclosed.
Marked out.
We had all the lines marked out. We had nets, we had lights, we had everything we wanted here.
Yeah.
And I can assure you, from the first day we moved in here to play a hurling challenge match, and started training here, coming up to championship, we were never refused this venue here. We were never told we couldn't have it.
Yeah.
And if the weather was very bad, which it was on occasions, they gave us the use of the community hall there.
I trained there myself.
There you are, Paul.
Circuit training.
Could go in there now and do an hour's work in it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be ideal, but at the same time, it was a night that we could use the hall for that.
Fantastic. And I played here myself. I played a number of Connacht finals here.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you mentioned earlier about finishers.
Yes.
We'd be in the games, always in the games, but they just had finishers,
Yeah.
and they'd run out, sometimes fairly convincing winners, but we didn't get there, but you guys got here on a marvellous occasion. The biggest day, I think, in the history of Four
One of the
Roads.
biggest history, of course, in Four Roads, because, winning a Connacht senior title against the Galway senior champions was a huge result for us.
It was huge. We might go back to Turpan and discuss about preparation for the next phase of the match, of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
thanks,
Paul.
Frank.
Okay.
Go back now.
That's great, yeah. Good.
And when was the All-Ireland semi-final? It was the following January, was it? Or
I don't know, was it January or early February?
It was into the new year, into 89.
It was, yeah. But we trained in Ballyforan now, because we had lights in Ballyforan, and we trained there. And from the very first night we started training at that time, I got out a list of every fella on our panel, and I drew the lines across, and I put their names down along here, and I put the nights for training along here, and every night they came.
An attendance sheet.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to hold. They've never trained winter training before.
Never like that.
Right through Christmas.
Yeah, because actually unbelievable now.
Yeah.
The amount of cricks that was there, yeah. We were determined to give it one good lash anyway.
And coming up to the game itself then, there was a tremendous buzz around Four Roads.
There was, absolutely.
I remember that being 14 years of age and the amount of...
There was. But would you believe now, there was even great other clubs in the county were giving us great support as well.
Yeah.
And there was a good feel thing for Four Roads at the time now.
There was.
And I remember we went down the night before.
You went down the night before to Wexford Park.
Wexford Park.
You were playing Buffer's Alley.
Great Buffer's Alley, yeah.
And you were down the night before.
Went down the night before. We had I think we went down the bus, as far as I can remember now. And we went out with that sort of an attitude. But there was that nervousness there that
you could sense.
These could do a job on us if they got on top of us. That was that.
They were at home, of course.
Oh, they were on their home page. They were, of course. Yeah. And had the home support. And
they'd waltzed through Leinster, waltzed through it.
And they went on to win the All-Ireland a couple of Sundays after.
Yeah.
But we went out and we played. Now, the biggest disappointment of that game to me, during that game, I couldn't get over the referee.
Okay.
He was giving frees against us for what I would have considered very minor offences now. A team that was coming down there, underdogs, under severe pressure to try and perform, and then trying to hurl the best you could. And,
And the crowd was massive. We have a photo here of the attendance that day, Frank.
It was Old Extra Park Day, yeah. Yeah, place full there.
Place is packed.
Place full, yeah.
And that's bound to, I know if I was playing and not used to it, trying to keep a handle on that. And you need the ref.
You need everything. For
at least being 50-50.
Well, that was the one disappointment for me now. Didn't mind being beaten by Buffer's Alley at all. I wouldn't have minded that. But you would always like a referee to give it both ways.
Give it the rub of the green.
Yeah, that's right.
It ended up for Buffer's Alley 219 for Rhodes 9 points. Paddy Dolan got 4, Tom Folland 2, Paul Dolan 1, Joe McCarthy 1, and you got 1 yourself. There's over 4,000 people.
Oh, there was a great crowd at
Wexford Park.
There was a great crowd.
And so you give them a bit of time off. You were back in February.
No, I took that job for 1 year.
Oh, you were gone.
1 year.
You were gone.
Yeah.
And what a year it was.
It was really the pinnacle of my hurling career anyway.
And the pinnacle of Four Roads. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and I'd say every lad and every fella that was involved in that, it was their pinnacle as well. It really was.
Yeah. 91 you won a county title again, and that would have been under different management, but you were playing yourself.
I was, yeah.
And you're here, there's a great photograph here of the 91 team. And again, a lot Paul Dolan is there, and a lot of the players from 88, which is only 3 years later.
Yeah, Robbie Lynn was back in that team. He had a fabulous game that day, Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie's young and he was coming on, and just have a few extras there.
Pádraig Lohan was there, Mark Kelly,
Damien Lohan.
Damien was going into it,
yeah. So a lot of lads there that I heard with.
Joe Mannion. Yeah.
So 91 you played Kiltormer in the Connacht final in Ballyforan. And you were 5 points up at half time, 4 or 5 points up against Kiltormer, hurling really well.
Yeah.
And you had a great chance.
We had a great chance. We had a chance But that was a great Kiltormer team.
It was. They won the All-Ireland.
They won the All-Ireland, yeah. That really was a very good Kiltormer team. The Kilkennys and the Conor Hayes.
Justin Campbell.
And they had
Marcin Staunton, who would have played for Galway.
Oh, he wouldn't be.
You know.
And Aidan, his brother.
Aidan Staunton, yeah.
Oh, they were the McCaig. They had really had a very good team. And the likes of them good teams, 5 points is a lead to have, a nice lead.
Yeah.
But if a goal goes in, it's 2 points.
That goes back to your point, Frank, about the last 5 or 6 minutes of my match.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what happened against Kiltormer. They got the 1 goal.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got the next one.
That's the problem, yeah. That is the problem with the likes of them lads.
Yeah. They go for the juggler.
They go for the juggler at that stage. And they have finishers. They have fellas that can finish. Yeah. And that's vital, you know. Every team that has this finisher or two in the team, they're always very hard to beat.
Yeah, and again, they had a lot of inter-county at minor and 21 senior.
Of course, they were a very experienced team now,
so then, 93, you won the county title as well.
Yeah.
You played Sarsfields. They got well beaten by Sarsfields.
They did. Very good team as well.
They won the All-Ireland as well.
They did as well that year, yeah.
And so when was your final year playing with Four Olds?
I think the following year, 94.
94.
I can't remember. I think it was 94.
Was your final? Do you ever, not regret, but do you ever wonder if you'd taken up Heenahan's offer to play county football for Roscommon and left the hurling after you, how that would have worked out?
It worked out bad for me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I enjoy the hurling so much.
You did, but you contributed so much.
And like hurling with Roscommon, I won when I was a young fella. I was on the Roscommon panel that won the All Ireland Junior out. I won 2 national leagues with Roscommon.
You did.
Won a Railway Cup.
You played Railway Cup at Connacht.
With Connacht on 2 occasions, yeah.
2 Railway Cup medals.
One, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I never have any regrets because for us, hurling to me would be my number 1 game.
Yeah.
I loved it. Couldn't play enough of it, of course, and great memories looking back on it now.
Yeah, well, thankfully.
I made great friends as well.
Thankfully, you did, and it was amazing to go up to watch you, as I said.
I managed Four Roads, came back to Four Roads in, I think it was 2004 or 5.
We lost the final to Oran.
Oh, did indeed, yeah.
Yeah, I was playing that day.
We wanted to win that game. That was Mickey Cunniff Cup and...
Yeah, Mickey had passed away, the new cup had come in.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
But you stayed on for the following year.
I did.
You came back the following year determined, and you did it. You brought Mickey Cunniff Cup back to Four Roads, Frank.
Okay, but that was a fabulous... Yeah, we came back the following year, and the fact that we were beaten, I suppose, probably made us more anxious to get this. We knew
but you held on. You wanted to bring him.
I wanted to bring that cup back without a shadow of a doubt. With about, I don't know, many minutes to go. Time was almost up anyway. We got this free a long way out, 70 middle of the field, and Ray Mullery took it.
He did.
Into a serious breeze.
Yeah.
And he lobbed it into the square. However, Damien Lohan got his hurl to it. And she went into the back of the net.
I'd say there was 12 bodies in the square.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Just going to, got touch. I'll never forget for now anyway. This thing.
And it ended up in the net.
Ended up in the back of the net. But when they go down the field and they got a free, remember, they got a free about 21 yards out to win it.
Yeah.
But they had to get a goal.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we saved it. And the whistle blew.
Yeah. And Mickey was coming home.
Oh,
yeah. Great memories.
It was a very moving experience. It was absolutely what you dream of now to happen. Now, it was very unfortunate that Mickey Cunniff wasn't there himself, but at least we had his cup anyway back.
At least we did. Look at Frank. Thanks very much for that. That was fantastic. And thanks again for all you've done and for inspiring us all over the years.
I loved every bit of it.
Thank you. We're here in Coils on Four Roads, the centre of the universe as far as hurling is concerned in Four Roads. It's here we planned matches, we celebrated matches, and we gathered before matches, and some great nights here, and a huge hurling tradition in the family here as well. So I'm joined by George Coyle, first here, Joe Mannion, myself, Damien Lohan, Adrian Tolley, and Simon Coyle is on the end. We all hurl together, and what we're going to be doing for this section of the documentary is looking at from the 90s on, really. Frank Carty there, the last interview I did with Frank, we finished up around 93, 94. We're going to be starting in the mid-90s and running right through. We're finishing in 2002, a very mixed year for us all, a year we achieved our third 3 in a row as a hurling club at senior level, but also we lost someone of huge importance to us all, which we will discuss in due course. I'm going to jump straight into it. I'm going to go back a bit actually before the 90s and just have a quick chat with Simon, who's here. Simon is the current chairman of the Hurling Club and was a very, very excellent player. We heard him mentioned a couple of times there in Frank Harty's interview as well. But just Simon, there's a lovely photo here of you in 88 county final against Pierce's, which you got man of the match in. What are your memories of that photograph there? We're going to put it up. And what are your memories of 88? It was an excellent team.
Of the game itself?
Yeah.
Paul, the year was a great year. Frank Harty over, I suppose, there was a great group there of youth and experience, the older lads, whatever. But we worked hard that year and played a lot of challenges, travelled the country, played a good brand of hurling under Frank. Frank was an unusual man to manage a team. He was ahead of himself. But county final itself was a bad wet day against Pierce's, and hard hurl, hard do anything right. I got lucky on the day with a couple of different things, I suppose. We won it narrowly. I don't even remember the score.
So it's low scoring game.
1-8 to
something like that.
Were you in the freeze that you're saying, were you?
I was on the freeze, and Frank was on the 65s, and Frank missed the 65. That he missed 2 actually, and he went down to take the third one. I said, Frank, leave it to me, and he just turned. He looked at me. He said, will you put it over? I said, I will, and I did. But that was Frank's trust in me, or me being lucky putting it over. Frank was some man.
Yeah. Move on, and we finished with Frank Harty there, and he said in. To 94, 95, Frank moved on. He'd been there so long, and he needed a break, and he stopped. He actually stopped hurling as well, and he was no longer manager. You stepped in, Damo, in 96 at a similar age to him and similar circumstances. What age were you?
I started. I was only 23.
23 years of age.
Yeah. I was 24. I think either the day of the county final or the day before, around that time that year. In October.
And you took over for Rhodes?
Took over for Rhodes, young fella. Probably had no sense at the time, whatever, didn't really think a whole pile about it. You mentioned Frank Harty. It was Frank Harty that gave me the blessing. He said, you're the man there, have a go at it and see how we get on. So that was the ultimate, So when Frank Harty says, you do. Yeah. So took it on.
It was a massive job though.
Massive, but you didn't think about it at the time. Hurling was just so part of your life. You're going to be doing it anyway. So I remember chatting Brian Mack, Pat Lennon and Jerry Tully. The 4 of us came together and we put a plan in place to go forward, and we hadn't won it in 2 years. So 2 years in Rhodes is a famine, and pressure was on, and I remember the first training session, we had 30 something lads above in the field, and you just knew it was right. It was so easy training the team. You just training was on Tuesdays and Thursdays, match the weekend or whatever challenge game. Everybody just rode in, got in behind. We won every game that year. We were flying. Like the team, I was just looking at the team there. Like, it was fantastic.
The team, Damo, just for
the county final.
I got that photo up, and just for people.
County final was Mickey Kniff, like his shoulders above everyone there. Like he was fantastic. He was hurling brilliantly back then, really good.
At his prime.
George flying it there as well. Joe, and like it's gas that all these guys are here beside us. Tull is here beside, and Simon and yourself. Like all of us played in that. Brian Mullery was there, and Raymond, myself there, Binny, Joe's brother Binny. Out left. I think the only man married was Andy on that team. Everyone else was single. Nearly sure that was it. Micheál Mullery, P. Mannion, Joe's other brother there, Simon, of course, Noel Cunniff, and Francie Graham. Like the savage team.
Well, if you just look at that, Mickey, George, Tull, Andy, Simon, is all that's left there from the 88 team. So you brought in, there's quite a few of us came on the scene, so was it changing in the guard in a certain way? All the younger players there.
But say there's a huge change between 88 to 96. You know, all the older boys had kind of moved on. But say Frank Harty himself had moved on.
Players.
Correct. And like these guys then were young. Probably no one gave us much of a chance. We were too young to be taking on this. We were never going to replace these lads. But geez, we hurled some stuff that year. Like we trained awful hard. I remember it was... We ran, we sprinted, you know what I mean? It was very basic, I suppose, back then, but the hurling was fantastic.
We won the county final 2-19 to 13 points.
That was against Tremaine, wasn't it?
Tremaine, who were defending champions.
Yeah.
Mickey Gunniff got 3 points. Damo, you got a goal and a point. Joe Mannion got 1-10. 1-3 from play. Remember that game, Joe, or you were on fire that time?
Well, you know, it's funny enough, the games you win, you kind of forget them.
Yeah, I just see him actually.
But there's Damo there, that was a great team. And I always think about them teams, the backline, the half backline that day, they were so much in control. When you're in control of a game like that, and you're getting good ball in, we got great ball in that team. We were pretty quick up front. When you get good ball in, you have speed up front, and you get the opportunities to. We got fouled a little bit in, so you pick up a few frees. And it was good.
It's just a very good team, a good performance. So got through to the Connacht final, playing Athenry, who were coming. They were an exceptional team at that time, and we were beaten in the Connacht final 1-15 to 1-8. But it's just worth noting in that game, with 9 minutes left, it was 1-11 to 1-7, and we had a goal chance. It went an inch outside the post. If it went an inch inside the post, with a point game going into the last few minutes.
Was that the game one of our boys going through it, catch it hopped off their knee or something?
Yeah.
Just went astray and it drifted out. We had opportunities to get goal.
Wouldn't be 100% sure it wasn't at fault there one either. That he had fumbling that huge.
I don't remember that now. All I remember
just we had opportunities to help each other.
We had, the one thing with them was physicality. They were bigger men or whatever.
They were huge.
And then a few years on, you could see the change on the senior teams of Galway. They were just getting bigger. We were probably at a level that we just happened maybe push up a day, or they were serious teams.
That was a class team.
When you go through that, we'd won the county. Some of us were playing a couple of years before the senior B. You go through that, the amount of any good team, you need leaders, and that team is full of leaders. Like this fella being so young, taking over the team. But I always describe certain players like Sloan. If I was going into a war, now I could argue like Hellerton during the week or weeks before, if I was going into a war, I'd want Lohan leading me in. He was a real leader. Joy up front. We were doing nowadays they call it the press. We were doing the press long before it ever came in, because the Manions used to work their socks off to turn over ball. Do you know what I mean? But right through the team, yourself, Conor, everyone was a leader.
97 we won the county final again, 1-15 2-1-5. We beat St Dominic's. And what I'm going to bring up is post-match celebration. We done, and Pat Liddon wasn't bothered. We interviewed, myself and Michael interviewed Pat earlier in this documentary. I'm just going to put this up here. It's Pat is missing and we're shouting for him.
He comes in.
That's what Mickey's there. We're all so young looking.
Jesus, lads.
Wow. Those are t-shirts that show.
Some of you go half a load, look at that.
You have an age in Toronto.
We're Benny.
Yeah, so that's 97. We got beaten in the Connacht semi-final by 2.
Yeah. Size again.
Again, we should have won. Don Greedy got a goal in the last 2 minutes, I think.
That's right.
So then we took a sabbatical for a few years. Most of us went on to play with Roscommon, and we won an All-Ireland Intermediate in 99. Beat Carlow in a replay. Ton of hours, outstanding. 2 great games of hurling. But at club level, we came back in 2000. You took over as manager, Joe.
2000,
yeah, and Damo, we took on the role as captain and just mixed it up a bit.
I was captain in 2000. 2000 was again, we had the famine for a few years.
Yeah.
Joe had come in and took over the reins as manager. Again, with a great team. You know, the lads got going again, whatever. A bit of hunger was there.
Before that, I think we were down a little bit of funny about the juniors and seniors, so it was talk about them kind of training nearly separately, and there was different managers, so we decided to go back to the old way and put the 2 managers together. So I think myself and Jerry Dowd, Pat Lennon and James Stanley had to come in that year, 2000. So again, we got all training together and numbers back up.
And that worked. That's
always worked, yeah. There was a little talk about time about maybe training different evenings and trying to get the 2 teams strong, whatever else, but it never really worked from here. So got training again, got going again in 2000, and again, numbers training, and the junior was always good to us that we had a good run on the junior championship and with the senior, and then we'd see the young lads coming through in 2000, 2001 again, and 2 and further on. So and there were good times again, and again we travelled for challenges. That was the key.
We always had to travel, but we did it.
It was brilliant at the time. I think he was nearly dedicated to getting us challenges. If you wanted a match, Pat organised one Friday, and we could go on and have a shit like.
But any team that would take us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once they heard Froes were coming, they knew it was going to be a good game.
So
up and off, play Lusma, Rhinas, up to
teams in Westmeath as well. Some good teams up there.
Hurling,
we could always balance having a good few lads involved in the county, playing the club, and we probably, we just never missed anything. You're there, you played, and you kept going. And county was always good to us. We came back in, the lads came back to the county, they were fit and they were strong, and they were eager to get back with their clubs and throw us on. Then it was great.
So for us, 111 at League 5 points. We won the county final. There's a picture here we're going to put up of demo with you at the cup.
So it was a wet day. Mike John Lane,
another great hurling man. And that's the team there then. It's a very few photos of 2000 actually, but we're bedraggled looking wet.
It was lashing that day.
The 5 points scored was the lowest in history. County final, because we had a serious back six that time. Like, one of them was a big more root number than yourself, Conor. One of them was a bigger headbanger as the other. We had a serious full back line that time, back six.
So we went on to the Connacht final. Again, our old nemesis Athenry. Before the ball being thrown in, looking around the pitch, just ticking off everywhere. And for me, the way I played hurling, this was gold. Like this is not so much for you guys at the corner forward, but this was.
It was going to be a battle.
It was going to be, and it was. And I've been barely on myself. I was involved in an altercation, and I probably should have been sent off. I got a yellow card, and there was another very, very physical challenge, and the ref was getting fed up if we picked up a couple of yellow cards, and the ref was pulling out, and they were in his ear, and that's the more their experienced team, and Tull, unfortunately, you were next in line for probably the least innocuous challenge of the 3 or 4 that happened,
and the most unlikely man. To be.
I would argue. I would say it was a harsh sending off. I think the ref had decided, "Fuck these Roscommon boys." And your man, I can't remember, was it Carl Moore or one of the Donahus came in, and it was one of those balls in 1-on-1. I was fairly decent at those things. I always fancied me chancing. Just in the very last second, he went to as I came out to my right, and I went as he went. I did lash to block, but there was a clash of hurls. I would argue. Now, if he was here, he may argue, no, you took me out for it. But I do think we paid a little bit of a price for that Roscommon boys.
Yeah, but like a yellow card, even if you did take a yellow card, and the penalty was probably enough.
Yeah.
And just probably your
yellow card.
But you know, first time ever to get sent off.
No. But you know where a goalkeeper being sent off?
Oh.
No.
As a goalie, how many times was it
just punished us for once. Couple of
So that was the first time
as a goalie.
Right, sorry. Maybe I phrased the question wrong.
And goal again.
Okay.
Just we got punished as the game went on.
He was
right. I've seen nothing going to punish something.
I think, and it's not me how many years later trying to justify being sent out, because I definitely let the team down, but that was the mentality we had. But
I remember that
thing. I remember time. I was devastated because I knew I'd let the team down, but that was the way we operated.
But also the way we operated, we felt we needed to do this for you then. That was the bond we had.
A real band of brothers,
Our centre back went into goal.
That's right, yeah.
You organised, Joey, you got us going again. And but Mickey was the centre back. And we started hurling then.
Yeah, we did a good run. I suppose we were just going on adrenaline at that stage, and we kept hurling, and eventually I suppose we just ran out of
half time it was 110 to 1-5.
Yes.
We got the first 2 scores of the second half.
Yeah.
With a few minutes left, it was 111 to 1-7.
Oh.
In that game, and we 14 players, and they had their full team out now at this stage. They were hitting us with everything. Now they went on to score, as Joey said there. They scored 1-5. We just collapsed. And it ended up 216 to 1-7. So, what did they do that year? They won the All Ireland.
They won the 2 in a row, sure.
That's right.
They won the All Ireland champions that day.
Yeah.
No, they won the
probably won
champions.
They came into the Connacht final as the All Ireland champion, and went on to win the All Ireland again.
Just back to back.
Yeah. And you had Sarsfield's 1 and 2 in a row. Athy win 2 in a row. Well, yeah, Galway teams were northern it.
So we were beating the George. We were able to.
Yeah,
I probably missing a bit the physicality, perhaps.
We were. The physicality.
So we'd have won all Ireland if Sonny wasn't in Dáil.
That's our story, anyway.
The secret here from that. Well, jeepers, whatever those years figured out. Oh, right. The pity is dropped. Yeah.
We were saying on the funny story that was Tommy Mulry. He was I don't know whether he medic that day. He was a psychiatric nurse. Psychiatric nurse was very appropriate for that team. But Mihal got a belt straight in here. Oh, in goal. And he sort of went back, whatever. So Tommy comes in and the 2 fingers, whatever. And all Mihal says, will you ever? And back went playing again. There was no one.
I remember at one stage, I stepped on Mickey's leg for some reason, just pretty sore. And Mickey was saying, what the fuck? Excuse my language. And Tommy came out with the spray.
Oh my God.
But the more nasty thing to do was no one was a and Tommy Muller. He came back at me again. What?
He sprayed on it. Yeah. Right. 2001. You were still manager, Joe, player manager, and we won the county title again. And this year we beat St Dominic. We played Clarnbridge in the Connacht club final, and they beat us 2-18 to 1-6. Now, I felt going into that game with a great chance. They'd won the county title for the first time in their history, I think, the previous weekend. I thought they'd celebrate accordingly, but most of that team didn't drink and looked after themselves. They were a very, very good team. We got well beaten.
The 2 Kearns there that day, Nick Allen and Merrick, and they just got a good run us earlier on. We were a little bit unlucky. I think one of our guys is under suspension that just before.
Because that was 2001. That was a great day. That was the day we went up to Kilmacud Sevens. Right. And it was fantastic. That was the day we won the Shield.
In Kilmacud?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That was
so we'll put up that photograph. Pro All-Ireland Sevens 2001, and that's the team there. That was a big win.
Thought it was
a great competition. I still love that competition.
Super. I think that was the first time we were in the Shield, I'd say, was it?
I think so, yeah. Great. I remember there was great crack going to it and great old bond that day. And the day, it was a long day, obviously, because you're playing matches and you're hanging around a little bit. And the longer the day went on, we got that little bit, I say that more serious to the point that we wound up actually doing physio amongst ourselves. Those guys with sore legs and on the table, and those guys giving rubs that were part of the team even, just to get going. It was great.
Who did you beat?
I remember. Turin, I think.
Turin. Burt in the semi-final. Burt from Donegal. They were the full Donegal team. And we were down by 2 points. And Mickey Caniff on the last ball, he caught it on the edge of the square and he buried it in the back of the net, and we won the game by a point. And that got us into the final against Turin. I think we beat Turin pretty well.
Turin comprehensive job in the final, yeah.
I think Billy Mannion had the goalkeeper that day. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, except from Billy.
Henry was in goal.
A Beckham job.
Yeah. Put the ball in over him.
But was that the time was that the famous day where our players represented more than 4
They did, yes.
I spent the load out that day.
Yeah, there was a lot of history about that day, actually, wasn't there?
It's probably a very unique situation where some of our players performed very admirably in the Dublin Under-21 Hurling Championship and had a win representing DIT.
Yeah, there was not many clubs. There was a lot wrong. There was the guy was suspended. He wasn't part of the college. He was under 21 or 26.
It's like that, he was fine.
But he was grand. I haven't got 100%. I think he was under 25.
He had 3 kids and a beard.
Yeah, but that was a great day. That was a monumental day. Like, that was a national title. Like, we didn't win too many national titles in fairness. But again, going back to what we're saying, that from the 88 thing, we had great belief. We believe we'd take on anybody. Whether it be right, wrong or indifferent, but we'd great belief in ourselves.
But again, like, you go back county again, you pick up an All-Ireland in, I think it was 94, was it?
Yeah,
and then you picked up one again in 98. You were still involved. All them, there was a nucleus of 8, 9, 10 lads involved in the county setup. Came back in, and that's what you got over as well. We were playing high levels in 94 and 98. We were playing high level county teams.
All I remember expenses back then was I used to get 50 quid in a cheque signed by Weeshy, and he was dead 5 years at that stage. But the cheque had come, Simon had cashed it, and we'd have a night or two, and that was it. That was it in the story.
We'll go on to 2002, where we're going to finish this documentary. And 2002, we won the county title 2-8 to 1-8. It beat Porrick Pierce's. Now, I think they hammered us earlier in that championship.
Did actually, I think it was up in Pierce's.
I think they did.
It was.
Yeah, hammered us, but
at the better well.
Kick in the air.
Yeah, I remember getting cleaned, didn't I?
Yeah.
And we won the county final, and of course our captain was Mickey Cunningham. We're going to stick up the county final team there. Now, for me as a player, this was, I think, the best team I've ever done. I'm just looking here beside Mickey there at the back of the centre. You'll see Tull at the back and Mickey beside him, back in the centre. As I said, we won the county final 2-8 to 1-8. I've no real memories. Again, finals, I remember ones we lost.
I mentioned there, that was, I think that was a kind of a, what you talk about later on, that was a kind of difficult week as well for the team. We had, I think our cousin Jerry Mannion passed away the week before that game. Yeah. And I think we couldn't postpone the final, it had to be said. I think we had to finish on Tuesday, I think. So I think you guys regrouped to train on Thursday night, so we came down and joined in. So it was a kind of a broken up the week in terms of that going on.
Yeah, I remember myself and Pat and Brian go up to your house.
Yeah, it was a tough all week on everybody in fairness. Tough week in the parish because Jerry had been at the game.
Yeah,
I think that was a lovely young fella. Yeah, was that a replay, or was it something? Maybe not. Maybe the semi-final was replay. But the final couldn't be postponed anyway, and Jared was at that game, and then he went to Galway. Yes. We got the word that morning that he was fouled, and then we were kind of prepping, obviously, for the funeral. Then we had the county final the following weekend as well. So it was a tough week in the parish now, in fairness. But for the guys to wrap their head around the final in the middle of all that was great as well, you know. It was. And I remember the three of us came down on Thursday, and in fairness, I think he all gives a clap.
Oh.
You know, when we came down to that, it was brilliant. Like, and just, you know, gave us a lift going back into home place, said, look, these boys have our back running.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Now we're going to put up a photograph of Mickey with the cup. It's an iconic photograph. Mike John again, and we got a canvas done off that particular picture.
Yeah,
and it's over there. The Connacht final, 2002. Where am I now? We played at Athenry again.
And that's night.
I just got to put up the team photograph of the two teams. You're looking at Athenry there. They're stacked. It's a stacked team, like just and your numerous all-stars all played county at some level, most at senior level.
Yeah.
But on the right, and I think the reason I'm showing this is I'm down there at full back, but I'm down as captain. And if I'm down as captain, there's obviously we're missing our proper captain. Mickey's not there. And I'm just going to put up the team that tugged out that day in Ballyfour in the Connacht final. And again, we're all there, but a glaring omission is our captain. And we thought he was sick. I remember thinking he'd have flu, being told he'd have flu. He wasn't at that game, I don't think. He was in hospital. You know, by looking at us, we're not ourselves.
A bit shocked looking, aren't we?
We are. We're just a bit off. And we got well beaten on the day, but unfortunately, a few weeks after that, we lost Mickey Connacht. Something I found, still do, but very, very difficult to deal with. He was our captain, he was our leader, he was our inspiration. We would have followed him to the gates of hell because we know he'd be the first in the gate. And Mickey, my own memories of him, I suppose he was just an exceptional hurler, but why he stood out for me was when he was needed. I remember one game, being at full back, we were a couple of points up against the wind, against the rain. The full forward had come in, a very good. My body was shattered. I was shattered, like broken. And there's a high ball coming in. So I'm not going to be able to catch this. We're going to lose this game. And a hand went up, like you'd see in like Gladiator or something, and he caught it. And he was as shattered as the rest of us. And that was it. We won the game, and then you'd need him. It could be a point or two down. He'd come up and get a score for you. When he was needed, he was there. And when the better the team and the better the opposition and the better person that was marking him, that's when he got
this game all.
And we're finishing up this documentary intentionally on the passing and one of the greatest of them all, and a huge loss. Joey, the semi-final, I remember we went down to play Sligo.
Harry,
he wasn't himself.
Yeah, he was. I think it's actually from memory. He started wing forward actually that day. Just wasn't himself.
Connacht semi-final.
I often said down the years. Remember, he came into the dressing room at half time. We weren't going that particularly well from the full. We were struggling a bit in the game, right? And he started wing forward. He came in. And I was sitting in the corner, and I could see the red helmet come up flying in by me into the corner and landed in the corner. And he said a few expletives out, and he says, I'm never playing wing forward again." It wasn't, he didn't know, we didn't know what was coming, but he wanted to get out to midfield because he wasn't happy with his game. But sadly, he never played wing forward again, that was it. But I remember that as clear as day, the red helmet being fired into the corner, and he was so vexed with himself that he just wasn't on his game. And none of us were on, and we subsequently ran and we won the game, alright.
But he never played again for us. That was his.
No, I don't think. I think that was.
No, he was at. Did we play someone after the Sligo?
Ballyhonus.
We played Ballyhonus and Ballyforn.
Yeah.
And he was there. I remember there with the black woolly hat, and he was shook looking. Like we all thought he had a cold or a bad cold, but obviously now we know better. But he didn't look well at all, you know. And he was the heart and soul of that team. Like he was the heartbeat. He was the rock. Like you said when we were stuck. And like no more than the game in 2001, the 7th side, was that 2001, when he went up and caught the ball and buried it. Like,
and that won the game.
Was that? We beat Burt 2. Yeah. Like the game was over. That was the last puck of the game, and he was the man to do that.
You had players who were very good on a winning team, and you know, a team would get 4 or 5 points up. Jesus come into their own. They were class acts, but Jesus Connacht could go to the trenches. You know, when you were down, you needed to get back into that game. He had that innate ability to do that. It'd be plucked that he wanted to puck out. Puck the thing out on top of me. He wanted it. He'd be thick with you if you did that. So he had that real winning mentality. We all had it. In fairness, we all had it, but he could produce it. And it wasn't like, yes, you're right, the better the opposition, the better he was. And that was the class. We go back a couple of the legends, but like Carty going way back, Carty had that as well. The better he played, the better he upped his game. You know what I mean about that guy that can play well when you're going all right, but jeez, like that way we lost. I said much earlier that we had a lot of leaders, which we had, and that ye were the leaders. But we lost our true leader that year.
Remember him in the height when you were playing Galway? He was midfield. He gave you a performance that like if he had another game or two, he would have got an Ulster.
Yeah.
He's remarkable tall.
Yeah, he'd be splitting at the end. But
as that, if you want a lad ball, that he'd go mad for the next one. Like no way you would have beat him.
Summed it up. He was a gentleman off the field. He was a warrior on the field. Yeah.
Oh yes, and he great respect to him. Yeah, because when he was training, when he was playing, he was tough. I think he left Noel after him one day.
Yeah. Oh God.
Scrap, I promise you. You never write this.
Yeah.
I think Noel had to get his own way go.
I remember my first county final, 96, as a player, and I remember being in the dressing room afterwards, and you know, I was after having a shower, and my father, who's passed away since as well, he came to the dressing room door, you know, and I could see him coming in, and I was pretending not to see him, I was being bashful, and after winning, it was a big deal, you know, we've all been there, and Dad was coming, I could see him, I pretended I was drying myself, so. Next thing, he walks right by me. And I expected a ogre.
Over to Mickey.
Come down, Mickey.
And Mickey was covered in blood and dirt, and he watched the shower he was met, but he sat down with him.
He come up once. I have to say that of all the games I've ever rewatched, that 0-5 game I watched it a few times after it. I remember one Christmas in the dark watching it, and the last 15 minutes are the greatest. Demo, that was your birthday that day, was that correct? You scored 1-2. You should have got man of the match that day. It was the last 10 minutes of that to win the Mickey Cunniff Cup, and I'll never forget walking it in here.
That was super.
Yeah. It was better than 88.
There's one man that again we mentioned very on. He has to reach as well. I think Frank Carty was the manager of the team in that time, and for him it was a very difficult job emotionally to get involved there and take on that job. And he knew the pressure coming into the Clare stuff. He knew, like, there was a few guys come in maybe a little bit before that, but he was the man I think we went to say, we want you over this team. And like, it was a tough gig for him to come in.
He was there,
and he knew there was only one.
He was there on 04.
He was there on 04, like, and it was tough coming in.
Awful.
And I have to reach as well, like, his son Kevin had passed away, and these young lads, Kevin's age, were on the team and training with that team, and he knew that. Like. And then he took on that job. And he just changed this completely when he came in and turned us in. He just drove us on to get over the line, and that was it.
He turned.
But the lines were when team captain Ray Mullery and the 31 other heroes who represented a parish, a people and an identity walked in unity through the crossroads in Four Roads amidst rapturous applause, flags flying, car horns blowing, huge cheers, many tears. The Mickey Cunliffe Cup was home.
Sums it up, boys.
We'll leave it at that, lads. Thanks so much for that, and it was a great day. We had great days.
Great days.
So there you have it. What a history, what a story, and what talented people we have looked at. This area is on a par with any hurling stronghold in Ireland. In fact, very, very few, if any, have such a remarkable history spanning not just decades or centuries, but millennia. Thank you for joining me on this journey through an area steeped in hurling tradition. It's in our DNA. There's probably, in fact, a separate strand of DNA just hurling running through all our bodies. It's part of who we are, part of our very being. This is Four Roads. This is hurling country.